think the mic works. It's never too late. It's 7 o'clock, guys. You know what that means? It means it's the start of the show. Welcome to Order 42. I am Rob. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing okay. Yeah, it's been a weird week, man. Been a weird week. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And thank you for the donation, the super chat, 8 bitacos. But welcome. Good to see you. And look, I mean, he's the first donation of what I'm sure will be just a constant stream. No. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You're here. That's all that I care about. You're just here. You're hanging out. I like that. But first up was Ninjinzu. Ninjinzu was first. He was first today. So you got to give it to him. You got to give him props. So Ninjinzu was first. Right after that was Rufus the Red. Welcome, Rufus. Ninjinzu again says, as a movie normie, the Odyssey blew my socks off. I need a second watch. And then Cosma said third. I'm assuming because he's third in the chat. But it could be because he wants to watch it a third time. I don't know. Look, here's the thing. The Odyssey is out now. So, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But hashtag no spoilers, please. I mean, for those who haven't, read this story that's 3,000 years old, not everybody has. So, and maybe this is their first version of the Odyssey they've ever seen. I mean, give them a chance. You know what I mean? Just give them a chance. But Cosma also said, speaking of socks, I need to buy 6 new pair. I mean, breaking news, everybody. I'm kidding. Welcome, Cosma. Good to see you. And of course, Justin Yates with the monkey and the popcorn. He's ready to sit down and chill out. I don't know. Maybe he's busy and he's just eating popcorn. The devil's snack. Because as you know, popcorn almost killed me. Anyway, and then Staffaux with his blah, which, I was testing the mic. I was making sure the mic worked. I mean, are you going to tell me that I can't test my own equipment? I don't know. And Jinzu said beep bop boop. And there's a bit tacos. Hope I'm not too late. You're not too late. It's never too late. And Jinzu loves new socks. And there's Warehouse Dave. Welcome, sir. Good to see you. But first up, look, here's the thing. Honestly, I think a lot of that, A lot of that left when Billy did. But we can still keep his memory alive by, championing physical media in all its forms, whether it's books or movies or games or whatever. Right? Isn't that? I think Billy would like that. Yeah. He was big. He collected everything. You know what I mean? He did. So, anyway, Rufus said Jinzu was first AF because I was refreshing for like 15 minutes. Here's the thing. This is going to sound like a pity party, and I don't want it to be. Okay? I don't need anything but the fact that your butt is sitting here watching this right now. That's all I care about. Okay? But today has been a really rough day. I can't tell you how depressing it is to do simple things, and it hurts. And it's just, oh yeah, it's just part of getting old. Yeah, but I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, we're going on 2.5 months now that my back's been jacked up. It's getting old, and it's getting really kind of depressing. So I've just had a rough day. Went to PT today, and man, kicked my butt today. Kicked my butt. And not only that, it's 104 degrees here. So yeah, it's freaking hot, and it was just not a good day. So I was this close to just saying, you know what, I don't think I'm going to stream tonight. But we have a lot to talk about. Even if it's nothing, we have a lot to talk about. It's what you want to talk about. Most of the time, it's what you guys want to talk about anyway. Because that's what's fun. It's fun to discuss things with you, even though it is sort of one-sided. I mean, I read all your chats, man. I read all the chats. And it's fun. I appreciate that. So just thank you for being here. That's all I can say. Thank you for being here on this here stream where I wasn't even sure if I was going to do it, but I said no. We should, and I should. So there you go. And KP Cinti, fast in here with the jokes. Says, wow, hi. I said this like 3 hours ago. Did you now? No, you didn't. Stofaux said, I didn't like it because stuff and things happened. Are you talking about the Odyssey? I don't even know what that means. My lips look weird. I don't know. It just looked weird for a second. It's probably nothing. Greg Harris said, Odyssey is a lot of fun. Enjoyed the journey. Only complaint is when Ellen Page was on screen. This I'm reading. Was on screen. It took me out of the movie. Couldn't buy her playing a young male role. Actually looked pretty silly, and the voice trying to sound like a man felt forced. I thought the rest of the cast did great acting. Overall, fun epic. I mean, yes. In fact, if you watch my review, there's one line said by another actor toward the end of the movie that's like, it's almost like salt in the wound, and it almost felt like it was on purpose. But the fact remains, Christopher Nolan has worked with Elliot Page. I mean, look, I'm just trying to be respectful. Okay? Trying to be respectful here. Worked with Elliot Page before. Must have had a good time. Must have had a good experience. So now Elliot Page is in this movie. I don't know. I mean, the weird thing is I don't have any ill will towards someone wanting to make a decision for their own life. Like, who are you to tell me that I shouldn't vape? Who are you to tell me that I shouldn't collect physical media? Who are you to tell me that I can't, I don't know, buy a red car instead of a blue car? I mean, there's a certain point where you kind of have to just let things be. And if it doesn't affect you, who cares? But I mean, it's it was almost a challenge. And that's why I can to a point agree with it felt like it was a forced thing and it felt a little manipulative. That is not why I gave the movie 7.5 star or 7.5 out of 10. I gave the movie, and again, there's a lot of people, and if you love the movie, if you hate the movie, I mean, all I'm trying to tell you is what my experience was. I found that the first half of the movie was very uneven, even though it has some of my favorite scenes in the movie. Right? There's two of my favorite scenes happen in the first half of the movie, but it felt a little uneven to me. And so, even though I enjoyed myself, I found myself going, this seems like it's dragging a little bit. And then, like I said, about halfway through, man, really takes off for me. Now, again, that could be just me. I've only seen the movie once. I do want to see the movie again. The weird thing is, the more that I think about it, the more I want to watch it again. And that's one of those things that I can say is sort of to me, it speaks to the quality of the film, at least from my perspective, is that if I want to see it again, that's a good sign. And there's really three movies this year that made me go, yeah, I want to see that again. Project Hail Mary, Sheep Detectives, The Odyssey. Now, I will say that I also want to see Backrooms again. I haven't seen Obsession yet. I know that's on a lot of people's, like top of the whatever list. And also it's got the whole underdog story kind of thing. It was only a $750,000 budget. True. All of those things are true, but is the movie, when you take all of that away, how is the movie? And I haven't seen it yet, so I can't judge it. I've been thinking that I want to go ahead and pay the $10 or whatever it is to go ahead and rent it so I can watch it. So I don't know. But to me, The Odyssey is definitely one of those movies that I want to see again. And I want to experience it, and I want to see if, knowing the style of the movie now, will I be able to get into that first half, easier the next time. Like I said, I thought all the performances were great. Elliot Page included. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. Now, does that mean that I think Elliot Page should be in everything? No. But I think with this limited amount of screen time, I think that was fine. But I get it. Look, I totally understand. I totally understand that it is, sometimes it's like, it's distracting. But I didn't find it too distracting. What I found more distracting was the pacing. Felt, like I said, the pacing for me a little off, and maybe it's because of my own fault that I was expecting more of a delivery of, olden times. This was very much a movie told in a modern style. Sure, it had the old timey boats and, swords and sandals and all that stuff. But it just, maybe that's my fault. I don't know. All I can say is I still liked it. So, Movie High Club comes in hot. Says best 3 Brad Pitt movies. That's really hard, and I know that I'm going to forget something. But I think my favorite Brad Pitt movie, I'm trying to think now, what would be my favorite? I know the one that I probably watched the most is probably Ocean's 11. When that came out on DVD, I watched the crap out of that movie because I just love the movie. I think the movie's great. Second would probably be Interview with the Vampire, and I'm just talking about number of watches. And then third would probably be, oh my gosh, 12 Monkeys or 7. I probably watched 12 Monkeys more than Seven. But as far as like best movies, I'm gonna say I'm gonna kick. Look, I'm sorry, I'm gonna kick Interview out. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be Seven and 12 Monkeys and Ocean's 11. Those are my favorite three. And again, there could be another one that I'm just not thinking of right now. Like I loved F1. And Astra, not the best. Legends of the Fall, that's a pretty good one. Uh, his first big role in Thelma and Louise, that was great. Of course, True Romance, one of my favorite roles. Even though, I mean, he's barely in the movie, but man, it's a very memorable role. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go with those. Stop looking at my physical media. Hey, you can look at the physical media. It's fine. Are you talking about me looking at yours? So I don't think I've seen yours. Stop Falk said, "It don't matter if you win by a minute or a second. Winning's winning." I mean, yeah, I think. Cosma said, Fight Club, F1, Moneyball. So three movies. I mean, I mentioned F1. See, for me, Fight Club is a fun movie, but it's not his best movie. It's not as like to me, it's not his best role. It's also one of those roles that's kind of, or it's one of those movies that sort of. I wonder how that movie will play in 20 years. Say, you know, Seven is the kind of movie that just will, man, it will just last. But Fight Club, I don't know. Fight Club seems very 90s to me, or early 2000s, I guess. But it just seems very of its time. But I mean, and Moneyball's great. Moneyball's a great one. Warehouse Dave said, I have to agree on Elliot Page. Men should play male roles except for Mrs. Doubtfire. I mean, again, it's such a small role that I don't know if it was, I mean, percentage of the movie, it's a very small part, but at the same time, especially if you followed Elliot Page's previous career, I'll just say that it's one of those things where it is distracting. I can see that. I mean, I'm not trying to be anything but pragmatic about it. It can be distracting. If you saw Juno, if you saw Inception, if you saw any of the movies that they were in, I mean, it's a thing. Justin said, I bought tickets to see the Odyssey next week. Time to avoid spoilers for a week. I'm going grocery shopping. Need anything, Rob? No. Other than I'll just say that I need to pick up some more Advil. Because I've been popping Advil like it's going out of style. Which is it's another thing that's kind of annoying. There's been a couple of days where I'm like, I think I'm just gonna let it ride and see what happens. And then 2 hours after the Advil leaves my system, I'm like, okay, I need to take some Advil. Dude, it's so annoying. This back thing is so freaking annoying. Or whatever it is, the SI joint. It's annoying. Lou said, I enjoyed the Odyssey. Using a real boat on open water was pretty cool. Man, there was so much of it where I'm like, okay, this isn't CG. This part isn't CG. It can't be. But how? There was, I mean, plenty of shots where the movie nerd in me is going, okay, how did they pull that off? And some really, really cool techniques being used. And there are very few movies that come out that have that sort of, I mean, it's just realism, and you can look and see, yeah, that's a thing. I don't know. It's impressive. Filbert said, I just got here. Can you start from the top? Thanks. No. But welcome, Filbert. Good to see you. Good to see you. Obsession felt buns in like the first half hour, but I haven't finished it. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Does that mean you were liking it or you didn't? Well, you haven't finished it, so maybe you didn't like it. Hmm. Felt, or are you saying like it felt like butt? I don't know. Butts can be good. I don't know. And Stop Fox said, my friend's mom wants to take me to the back rooms. Stacy's mom? Has she got it going on? Hmm? Hmm? Brad Pitt hasn't made a single movie where I'm like, oh, I want to watch that. Really? Wow, that's actually to me that's shocking. That's shocking to me because like dude, Brad Pitt's one of those actors that I really like. And I've watched so many of his movies. Let me just see. Let me see what movies I'm missing that I'm not thinking of. Uh hmm actor Pitt Brad Pitt. I own 12 Monkeys. Of course, I said that. The Big Short. It's a great movie. Bullet Train. Meh. The Counselor. F1. Fight Club. Inglorious Bastards. I completely forgot about Inglorious Bastards. Completely. That's a great movie. In fact, that might I don't know. It's so tough because like especially if you step away from a movie for a while, even one that's like, like really like everybody's talking about it and all that kind of stuff. You come back to it a few years later, then you watch it again on its own merits. You like all the previous talk and people, saying it's the greatest movie or it's the terrible movie or whatever, you know what I mean? All the talk is gone and you're just left with the movie itself. Inglorious Bastards on my rewatch from Arrow, the 4K. I almost didn't buy it, but I watched it and was like, this movie's great. This movie might be Quentin Tarantino's best movie overall. I don't know. It's so good though. I love that movie. Gotta love it. So good. Ocean's 11, 12, and 13. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I do love it. River Runs Through It. 7, Snatch. Anybody? Come on. Thelma and Louise, True Romance. Oh, and World War Z. Yeah, so I own I didn't realize I owned 17 Brad Pitt movies. There you go. There you go. But Brad Pitt, look, he's one of those actors I like. I feel like when Brad Pitt is in a movie, you don't have to worry about him. And in fact, when we went and saw the Odyssey, there's a new movie that's coming out with, and I can't remember, Heart of the Beast or something like that, where he's an ex, Navy SEAL or Army Ranger, whatever he is. He's an elite. Of course he is. There's nobody's just a regular guy anymore. You got to be the elite. Anyway, uh, he goes on a trip with his dog, and the plane crashes or whatever, and it's like this movie's gonna tear my heart out, isn't it? Because I was tearing up just watching it. I'll also say that I teared up watching. Now, today I think they released another trailer, but I actually teared up in the theater watching Spider-Man, the brand new day trailer. I don't know what to tell you other than I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters. And I arrived at Spider-Man very, very late. We're talking uh early 2000s is when I started reading Spider-Man comics. I'd never really been into Spider-Man that much. But man, I love Spider-Man. He's one of my favorite characters. So, I'm seriously yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be one of those where I cannot. I mean, seriously, I'm super excited for Brand New Day next week. Very excited. But Gilbert asks, "What is an epic you would like to see told or redone?" I'd like to see a modern 3+ hour epic about the rise and assassination of Caesar. That's a great one. That is a great one, Filbert. But you know what? It's something that I'd mentioned before. Like as soon as I read that, I was like, I know exactly what I would want. I want Lamort d'Arthur done really, really well. Like, I wish Christopher Nolan would make a Lamort Darthur, you know, because that is my favorite uh legend. Like, I love Robin Hood, you know. I love I mean, the Odyssey was good, even though I've said this before, I'm not a sword and sandals kind of like, it's just not my preference. Or sword and sorcery. I don't know what you want to say. No, that's not true, because I would say that, like like the King Arthur stories would be sword and sorcery. I'm not a sword and sandal guy. I've never really liked the Jason and the Argonauts and the Golden Fleece and Sinbad and all that stuff. And it's just not my thing. But I love pirate movies, and I love King Arthur. I love the Knights of the Round Table. I loved it so much. I read Lamort Darthur, Once and Future King, and the other book down there. It's called King Arthur, but it's what it is it's kind of like, it's all the stories from Lamort Darthur that they didn't go into. And it's this big book, and it's good. I mean, I read all three of them almost back to back and was like, yeah, because I kind of I wanted to read those to get myself in that mindset to see if there was a story that I wanted to tell there. You know, like, I want to get that flavor kind of in my head, and to see if there was something that I wanted to do. I didn't find anything. So the next book, or the next story that I'm thinking about, is not in that era. But after watching Excalibur, I went, okay, from a story and kind of like bullet point standpoint, Excalibur covers a lot of Lamort Darthur that I really like. But it's not my style. I'm not crazy about the way John Borman made decisions on the designs, the feel of it, and all that stuff. I feel like it's a little bit lacking. I still say that probably my favorite of any of the King Arthur adaptations is probably Sword in the Stone. I know, but it captures that first book of Lamort Darthur so well that it's my favorite. It's my favorite of all the King Arthur stories. I want more, though. I mean, kind of like how they every couple of years they do a Robin Hood, and some, this recent Hugh Jackman where they, it's kind of the death of Robin Hood or whatever it is. I want to see it, but I would like the same from King Arthur. Somebody does a King Arthur story, I'm in. I am in, because I love those stories. I watched The Green Knight, which is a story told in Lamort Darthur, and I really like that, even though it was very odd. That was a very odd movie and done very independent, artistic. I liked it, though. I liked it a lot, and it was a kind of a different take than what I was expecting. So I would like more of that. Keep going. Bring more. Give me more. I don't have a story in there that I'm like super interested in kind of cracking or expanding on or whatever, but yeah, King Arthur would be my answer. I talked a long time about that. I apologize, but that's how I go. That's how I do. And you might be wondering, hey Rob, didn't you make a decision that you were going to go over the news like at the beginning of the stream? Yes. The problem is there's not a whole lot of news this week. So, but I will say, hey, and Robert Rivera, welcome. I see Lou again, Filbert, Lou, Rufus, Lou. Hey, appreciate all of you guys and anybody else in here, Warehouse Dave and Cosma and Justin, and I appreciate you guys. But I think I will go over the news items. There's not really a whole lot of news, but I did want to bring this up yet again. Comic-Con is this week. This week, starting Thursday, Comic-Con. So yeah, there's I'm very, very excited to see what comes out of Comic-Con this year. Of course, we did get an Avengers trailer, so we may not get any more Marvel news, but there should be some interesting stuff come out of Comic-Con. There always is. And would you quit doing that? Because that's what I wanted. July 23rd, 26th. It's coming soon. I'm very excited. Let's do it. Go, go, go. I want to know what you're going to do. I also wanted to bring this up. I mean, I've talked about it before, but the X-Files Lego set, man, this thing looks awesome. And it looks even more awesome because I noticed something, a new detail. Of course, here's how the set is broken apart. It's kind of fun, and yeah, that's great. But look at this. So you've got Skinner from left to right, Skinner, Mr. X, Scully, Mulder, Alien, and Krychek. Of course, you got the cigarette smoking man, and you've got the weird, sucker dude. I don't remember what his name was. But Krychek is one of my favorite characters in X-Files. I love Alex Krychek. So the fact that we got an Alex Krychek, I didn't know we were getting one. I'm so excited that we get an Alex Krychek. But yeah, this set looks great. It looks fun. It looks really, really fun. And what's interesting too is, of course, it comes out August 4th. But if you're a Lego insider like myself, you can pre-order it on August 1st. Now, if you buy the set from Lego between August 1st and August 10th, hashtag not sponsored, hashtag I wish I was sponsored by Lego, but not sponsored, okay? You get Scully's Lab as a free gift, a bonus set, a little bitty set. I want that. I want that. So I'll probably be getting the Lego set. I'm just saying. It's probably going to happen. And you can't stop me. Okay? You can't stop me. You can't. But also, yeah, I just wanted to bring this up because it is interesting. The Odyssey stuns with a $124 million opening weekend, third biggest debut of the year. It is the largest opening for an R-rated film not called Deadpool, which is interesting. I didn't realize that until somebody brought that up, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's kind of awesome. I mean, because of the whole Barbenheimer thing, Oppenheimer almost made $1 billion, but it didn't. I think it was like 82 million. Now again, I'm not a box office. What do you call it? I don't break down box office or anything like that. I typically don't care. The only thing I care about is I care that the movies do well. That's all I care about. And this is definitely doing well. So there you go on that. But then also, man, I think this thing is going to have some legs. Like, I was trying to find 70 millimeter screenings because there's only one theater in Dallas Fort Worth that has a 70 millimeter IMAX. I was trying to find a screening and I gave up because I think I was in the middle of August and still could not find a screening with a seat that I wanted to sit in. But this is something that I do want to talk about. How many of you actually care? How many of you, like, seriously, like, how many of you actually would care about David Strauss? Welcome. Welcome, sir. Look, I'm glad to see you. I don't know if I've ever seen you here, but I really appreciate that. And then it says message retracted. What does that mean? That was weird. Why does it say message retracted? Interesting. But hi. Welcome. Good to see you. You pushed the wrong button? Oh. That's okay. I understand. But welcome. So anyway, yeah, how many of you actually care that I didn't get to see it in 70 millimeter IMAX, or I didn't get to see it in IMAX? Because I'll be honest, dude, I I do not like IMAX as an experience. It's not that I don't like the aspect ratio. I don't It's not that I don't like how big it is or anything like that. What I hate is I hate that the sound, to me, the sound isn't as good as a Dolby Cinema at AMC or the Cinemark XD. I think the sound's better in both of those theaters. Number 1. Number 2, I hate the seating. It's standard chairs, like standard, like the way that the way that it used to be. All of the seating that I typically go to now is all the recliners, and you actually have a little bit of space and all that kind of stuff. I just prefer that. So I don't know. I think I'd rather I don't know. And I will also say that the Cinemark XD isn't the, you know, it isn't as tall or as, yeah. I mean, I guess it's tall on both sides, right? The aspect ratio is definitely more square than what I experienced. I basically experienced kind of like 16 by 9. But I didn't see anything where I'm like, oh man, I really wish I could have seen more of the trees or more of the water or more of the sky. Like, you know what I mean? To me, a good director, which I think, I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I think Christopher Nolan's a pretty good director. I know that might be controversial to say, but I think he's pretty good. He knows this when he's framing his shots. And sure, there are going to be times where you're going to see a lot more information on the top and bottom, but it's not necessary information, because I would think that you have to keep in mind where the majority of your audience is going to see this movie. There's only a handful of IMAX theaters around the world. And I don't know if you saw this, but a few of them have already started breaking down because, like I said, my theater, I say my theater, my local 70 millimeter, they're playing the Odyssey almost like 24 hours a day. There's a 2:30 a.m. screening, and then there's a 7:45 a.m. screening. So there's only a couple of hours break. And then it's showing all day, every day, and they're all sold. And on top of that, they can't even really make new IMAX projectors because a lot of the people that created that technology, they're not around anymore. They've either left, retired, or unfortunately died. So it's one of those weird things where, as cool as IMAX may be, as cool as 70 millimeter may be, I just don't think that any director is going to make a movie where you have to see it in this format or else. Just this, to me, the same as Sinners. I saw Sinners in Cinemark XD and had a great time. A fantastic time. I didn't feel like I missed anything. Even though I really did want to see it in IMAX, but again, I couldn't get tickets. And on top of that, it's over an hour away. And look, it's not just an hour of driving. It's an hour of driving through some of the worst traffic. Like, I cannot stand driving in Dallas. If I can avoid it, I will. In fact, there's been many times I've gone way around Dallas just so I don't have to drive through it. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is there's many reasons why I don't like IMAX. I'm not trying to dissuade anybody or anything like that, but I really think that the seating is substandard. At least now in this day and age, it's substandard. The sound isn't as good, and I don't think I'm missing much. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. And I really wanted to hear if anybody had gone to see it in 70 millimeter and they were like, oh my God, it's, it was like, I don't know. It was like flicking an acorn off of my penis. I don't know. I don't even know what that means. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing. I'm just trying to say, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it in 70 millimeter, and I don't feel like I missed anything. But then, of course, not to be outshone, on Monday, we got the Avengers trailer. Avengers Doomsday finally revealed. And apparently this is almost shot for shot. Like there might have been a couple of sequences, but or a couple of little shots, but for the most part, this is what was shown to the audience at oh gosh, what's the convention? CinemaCon, which is basically theater owners. But that was the first time that this footage was shown, and yeah, from everything I've heard, it's very very similar to what was shown then. And then on top of that, they announced the whole Infinity Vision thing again, and they say, hey, tickets are now on sale. And guess what? All the XD screens around me are freaking sold out already. And I'm talking about within hours because I completely forgot. I even mentioned it on last week's show. I was like, hey, Monday, Avengers tickets are going on sale. Not sure what time, but I totally forgot that they were doing that. And then, oh crap, yeah, I went and checked and it was like, okay, they're all sold out. All right. So I'm probably going to have to see not only Dune, but Avengers Doomsday in probably a regular theater, which I got to say, okay, it's fine. I don't care, honestly. I just want to see the movies. So, anyway. But anyway, the trailer. I'm curious what you guys thought of the trailer. Because I when I finished it, I was like, okay. But this is also the first trailer. The first trailer kind of gets you, lets you know, hey, this is what's happening. These are the characters that are going to be involved. You saw a bunch of things that, wow, I was like, I didn't know that was going to happen. Some cool stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. I want to see it. I'm a comic book nerd. Of course I want to see it. But I'm kind of curious what you guys think. So yeah, that's really all the big stuff. Oh, and I will also say that I think one of the other big news items of this week is the fact that the Paramount Warner Brothers merger has been paused because there are, I think it's either 12 or 14 states. I can't remember exactly, but they're trying to basically block it. They're trying to block this thing, and they took it to the judge, and the judge said, okay, for now, we're going to pause the transition. We're going to pause the merger. And in 2 weeks, which I think is August 3rd, they will make another determination of what's going to happen. What they're trying to do, the states are trying to block it completely, saying that it's they're trying to basically create a monopoly. There's all kinds of reasons. If you're really interested in that, I would say go over to the John Campea show, and you could probably just click on there, and there's a couple of news items where he talks about the Paramount Warner Brothers merger being paused. In fact, he talked about it again today, that there are five different lawsuits going on right now to try to block this merger. 5. That's a lot. And if they don't close it by October 1st, and this is something that Paramount had agreed to way beforehand, apparently Paramount has to pay Warner Brothers shareholders $650 million every quarter that it doesn't happen. Every quarter. Which, let's see. How much is that? That's wow. $7.2 million a day. Which is, oh my God. This is insane. $300,925 every hour. Every hour. That's what it's going to cost Paramount. So, yeah, they are trying to get this thing closed as fast as possible. Who knows what's going to happen? Of course, I will restate what I've always said about this, and that is I do not want this to go through. I wish that Warner Brothers would stay on its own, Paramount would stay on its own, and these legacy amazing studios would continue on their own. I Was not a fan of when Amazon picked up MGM. I was not a fan when Disney picked up 20th Century Fox. But it's it's kind of one of those things where at this point we've only got really 5 big ones now. So I would prefer that Warner Brothers stays on its own, and especially because me personally, I've always been a huge fan of Warner Brothers as a studio. They haven't always made the best decisions, but especially, I mean, gosh, with DVD, with their basically their reign in the 2000s, the late 90s, 2000s, they were making movies that were risky, and I like that about them. I like the fact that they were like, it's almost that kind of that feeling where it's like, hey, let's give the kid a shot, kind of place to as a studio. So we'll see what happens though. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Paramount may make concessions to the states that may say, hey, whatever. But anyway, if you're really interested in that, I would highly, highly, highly recommend you go over to the John Campea show, because number one, he used to be in law, so he understands these things a lot more than I can explain. Just like I would say, if you're interested in box office, you go over to Dan Morel's channel, because his channel really specializes. He does a weekly box office breakdown, and I watch it every week. I watch it every week because I think it's fascinating. I don't care enough to make it part of my show, but I find that stuff interesting, and especially trends and things like that, because usually what happens is the better the box office, the better it's going to be on home video, and then the better it's going to work on, future installments or future movies for that studio. So that's why I care about that. But yeah, honestly, that's pretty much the news this week. The big news was that the Odyssey, blew a lot of people out of the water. They were talking about between 80 and 90 million. So for them to come out and say it's over 120 million, that's quite a big difference in the box office. And of course, the Avengers Doomsday trailer is kind of a big deal. So there you go. So let's get caught back up. Robert, did I say hi to you? I think I did, but hey, welcome. Good to see you. I'm out on the water every day. Yeah, but you're not filming an epic. Ninjinzu said the girls acting felt more out of place than Elliot Page. I gotta be honest with it, man. To me personally, this is just my opinion. The two performances that really shocked me. The first one I shouldn't have been. It's Anne Hathaway. Her performance to me was so freaking good. I was really surprised at how good she was. There was a point where she was talking and she made me tear up. Her, not anybody else, her. And it was just like, wow, that was really good. That's really good. And then Tom Holland also, I wouldn't say that he really super surprised me, but I, just like I said in my review, I think he's come a long way. Of course, Matt Damon's going to be great. Matt Damon's been great for years. I think in a lot of ways, Matt Damon doesn't always pick, or maybe he's just not offered roles that really show off what he can do. Matt Damon was excellent here. Okay. Robert Pattinson. He's another one of those actors where it said, oh, Robert Pattinson's in it? Okay, well, you don't have to worry about him. He's going to be amazing. So, yeah, he's in Dune 3. He's probably going to be amazing. So, I'm fine with, I think Robert Pattinson is great. Another big surprise, though, was John Leguizamo. I had no idea. Like I said, I think at some point I was like, I think that's John Leguizamo. But I wasn't super focused on it. I thought he would be kind of like a blink and you miss him kind of thing. He was really good. So I think the acting across the board was actually really good. I don't know. Every movie I've seen with him in trailer, I'm just like, meh, it may just be Brad Pitt. And hey, that's the thing. That's the thing, Star Fox. Everybody hits you different, and just like I'm not a huge, like when I see Mark Wahlberg, I'm like, All right, well, let's see if I want to see this movie. And sometimes I'm like, well, I'm going to see that movie, but I'm not a huge fan of Mark Wahlberg. In fact, like I said, credit where credit's due. I saw him in Flight Plan last year, the Mel Gibson directed movie, right? And was like, okay, I don't like Mark Wahlberg, but this looks like an interesting story, and I kind of want to see what happens. And you know what? He was great in that. He was really, really good as the bad guy. I liked it. So, I mean, again, liked it. It's one of those movies. It felt like a very old school kind of movie in the fact that it's not a big movie. It's not, it's the kind of thing that you would see just come out every now and then. In fact, some of the movies that I watched this week, were kind of like that, but yeah, it's all right. Lou said Legend of the Fall is highly underrated. Probably my top 5. I like that one a lot. I like that one a lot. And Aiden Quinn is one of those actors where he's also like, for a long time he just played like bad guys. It's kind of like Tony Goldwyn. Remember Tony Goldwyn? He's the bad guy in Ghost. If you remember Ghost, um, what was the movie that I just watched with him? Oh, The Sixth Day. But it's like Tony Goldwyn just played villains for like a long time because of Ghost. And then Aiden Quinn always played guys that were, whatever, because of Legends of the Fall. So, anyway, I like that movie though. And I still, to this day, I still go, Scrum! In fact, if my wife is anywhere near the door, she will say, yes, you do that. And then Fox said, I own more movies starring Shintaro Katsu than anyone else. Really? Is it because you own the Zatoichi movies? Because those are fun. Those are really fun. And yes, we're talking. Okay, Filbert and Lou both bring up a scene in the Odyssey that, yeah. I don't want to bring too much attention to that. But yes. Yes. Lord of the Rings is sword and sorcery, you pillock. Star Wars is sword and sorcery, LOL laser sword. Right, but sword and sandals? No. And that's why I changed my viewpoint. That's why I was like, I changed it because King Arthur is sword and sorcery. But anyway, a kid in King Arthur's court. Yeah, I never saw. Well, I'm trying to remember if I ever actually saw that. Because that's the kid from the baseball movie, right? I don't know if I ever actually saw that movie. Like, I think I've seen bits and pieces. Rob, what is a hill that you would die on figuratively and then a hill you would die on literally? Well, I'm just going to say sometimes it's a hill that I have to, actually defend from time to time, but that's integrity being one of the most important parts of any life. I mean, it's one of the things that having integrity and saying, basically, I mean, of course, having integrity is important, but also just being able to be honest with yourself and the people that are around you. And there are so many, I'm just going to say, there are so many YouTube channels out there right now that are not telling the truth. And they're farming hatred, and I hate it. And there are many times where I notice, for sure, I get more views the more angry I get about a movie. And I don't like that. My number 1 review this year was for Masters of the Universe, and it's because I have or I don't even remember what face I used, but it's because I was not very positive about that movie. And then last year, one of my number 1 videos from last year was my Crow review, when I went off on that movie, especially at the beginning. But it's like, that's one of the things that, I think that's one of the things that I will figuratively and literally, I'll die on that hill, because it is to me the most important thing to me is being honest. And if a movie is a 7 or 8 out of 10, that doesn't mean I didn't like it. That just means it was a 7 or 8 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. That doesn't mean I hated it. That means there were issues that made me, not every movie is a 0 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. The life isn't, regardless of what you may have seen or heard, it's not made up of ones and zeros. There is, there's beauty in the gray. Just saying, doesn't have to be black or white. There is beauty in the gray. So there you go. That's my take. I don't know. A lot of people don't like that. And it will mean fewer views on my channel because of it. I don't care. That's the way I do things, and it's the way I live my life. And I have been, sometimes it's hard. It's hard to tell the truth. It's hard to tell it like it is. But sometimes it needs to be done. Anyway, Filbert said he's glad it's so successful. Feed me epics like this. Yeah. The thing is, though, there are very few directors that can do that. There are few directors that can do what the level of filmmaking that Christopher Nolan has. I mean, it's hard. It's just not easy. So yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where, man, I would love to see more, but what I don't want to see is a bunch of half-ass epics. Do it right or don't do it is kind of the way that I look at it. But that's me. And then yeah, there's David Strauss pushing the wrong button. I don't even know if you're a member or not. If you are, man, welcome. If you aren't, cool. I mean, I seriously, it's one of those things that it's tough for me, because I'm one of those people that I believe that if you're a member of this channel, that you should be getting something more than just this, But at the same time, I haven't had a whole lot of time to do that. And so and every time that I've brought this up, people have been like, no. But I've thought about canceling the membership program just because I don't feel like I'm providing the level of value. Because again, I value just the fact that you're sitting here and taking part in chat and stuff like that. That's what I care about. The honest truth is, I'm not big enough as a channel for that to make much of a difference. So I would rather just get rid of it and not worry about it and just have a good time with you guys. But everybody's like, no, don't do it. And I understand. I mean, some of the emotes are kind of fun and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if you are a member, cool. If not, no hard feelings. I'm just glad you're here. That's it. And Filbert said, I would love to see 70mm, but not enough to travel. I have one here in town, but yeah, it's sold out. Yeah, mine's, again, when I went to every single screening for like almost a month, and then was like, I don't even like going to this theater anyway. So I would rather just see it again in a different format. So for example, what I'm thinking of is trying to find the next available screening, whenever that's going to be, at the Dolby Cinema, which is about 45 minutes away. Still kind of a hike, but I love that theater. I love the Dolby Cinema. Now, the funny thing is, the last 2 movies that we've seen in the XD, April's been like, this wasn't worth the extra money. to me. Like, I'd rather just watch it in a regular theater, for multiple reasons. But again, or maybe I didn't say, no, I didn't say this in the review. I took it out because the review already seemed kind of long. But I said that one of my biggest disappointments about the movie had nothing to do with the movie. It was that the theater had it way too loud. So when you have speakers, no matter what kind of speakers they are, there's a point where if you push it past this point, it's going to start getting distorted and it's all actually going to sound muffled. Well, I feel like they had this turned up so high that it was kind of a shocking, rocking thing, and it was, I mean, kind of impressive sonically until they started talking, and it sounded like it was muffled because it's starting to distort. The sound is distorting, and I wish they'd backed it off. And so I didn't have any problems really understanding anybody other than the fact that the sound was muffled. And David agrees with me. It's all about the seats, man. In my opinion, it is. It's so much better in a Dolby Prime or Dolby Cinema, or the Cinema XDs, the Cinemark XDs that I frequent, because they're more they're closer. They're just more convenient for me. And then Movie High Club says 3 of Johnny Depp's best roles and not 3 Pirates movies for answer 3 different movies, different genres, even maybe. Okay. Best roles. It's been a while since I've seen. I gotta be honest, man. I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I know. Yeah, but Gene Wilder was so great. Yes, but he brought a different take on Willy Wonka that I really liked. But that movie's kind of a little all over the place. But there's parts about it that I really like. I'm trying to think of movies that I really like with him. Donnie Brasco, really good in that. Let's see. Dead Man, I loved him in that. That is a very off the beaten path Western. It's actually in the Criterion Collection, and I think I just have. Don't I have it? Yeah, I have a standard studio Blu-ray over there. I don't have it on Criterion, but that is definitely worth watching. Oh, you know what? I don't think I own this movie. Oh, dude, What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Wow, what a great movie. I love that movie, and Leo's amazing. Actually, it's probably my favorite Juliette Lewis performance too. Is in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. She is so wholesome, and she like real to me in that movie. Every other movie, it seems like she's playing a character. In What's Eating Gilbert Grape, she seems like a real person. And I don't know. I just like that. I like that a lot. Um no, what was I thinking of? I can't remember what movie I was thinking of just now. It's a movie that I don't own, but that I really enjoyed his performance in. I can't remember. But if I have to pick from those, I'm gonna say What's Eating Gilbert Grape for sure. For sure. Donnie Brasco and Dead Man. I would say Gilbert Grape, Dead Man, Donnie Brasco. There you go. Great movies though. Gilbert says our IMAX has nice seating, not recliner, but still big soft chairs. You must watch it with us peasants, movie man. Well, the thing is though, it's like my Cinemark is all movie theater or like recliners. It's all recliners. So I don't see that as a premium kind of, I guess. Does that make sense? I'm not that big on the standard seating, especially when they're so close together in a thing like that. I mean, I get it. It's the only one around. It's the only 70 millimeter around, and they probably don't want to take out 40-50% of the seats just so people can have recliners, because that thing has been sold out every single screening for weeks now. But still, it's annoying. And I remember the first time that I went and saw, and it was at that theater, I saw Attack of the Clones in 70 millimeter or in IMAX. I don't think it was 70 millimeter actually. No, because that was shot digitally. But what it felt like was that it's almost like the screen was right here, like seriously this close to my face, and I had to do this to see the whole screen, and it wasn't a great experience, and it completely turned me off on the whole IMAX, the idea of doing IMAX. Now it's a better, it is definitely a better viewing angle, and all that kind of stuff is much better. I saw Civil War. I guess that was last year. I saw Civil War at that an early IMAX screening of Civil War there. It was fine, but again, I just prefer good seats and better sound. But that's just me. I didn't even watch it. I've been so checked out of anything Marvel besides Spider-Man, and even that I kind of am checked out on now. I mean, look, I totally understand it, especially when you, and the Odyssey is a really interesting movie for that, because it's really going to shine a light on the idea of, do we like this super manufactured feeling kind of movie, or do we want something that's more realistic and feels real? That's the thing about Spider-Man, is that it just looks so artificial in spots. I mean, it's still a Spider-Man story, and yeah, I'm still pumped. I have my ticket. I'm ready to go. But like, it's really amazing to see a really well-crafted movie done as real as possible, and in camera as much as possible. So, I get it. I totally get it. But I have a feeling that it's going to, man, the excitement for this movie is going to grow and grow and grow. And the fact that it is going to be like, it's going to be an event. Doomsday, Dune 3 and Doomsday coming out the exact same day. I think people are going to be having Doomsday every day for weeks into January. And both Dune 3 and Avengers Doomsday are going to reap the benefits of that. I honestly think that Dune 3 probably still won't break 1 billion. I think there's going to be fewer people that are going to go see Dune 3 than are going to go see Doomsday. But I'm so pumped to see both of those. And I don't have tickets for either one yet, because guess what? The only tickets that went on sale for Dune 3 were IMAX, and I didn't give a crap. So there you go. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Lou said, how many years until DC gets rid of Gunn? I believe it's just a matter of time. I mean, if you really think about it, you've had 4 different DC things out so far. Peacemaker season 2, which, like it or not, James Gunn brought that into the new DCU. It was pretty successful. The Creature Commandos, which is a cartoon, but an animated thing, but it was still pretty well received. I don't think it really caught on the way that they had hoped, because I don't know. I didn't see a lot of talk about Creature Commandos, and when I brought it up, everybody's kind of like, nobody really responded to it. So there's Creature Commandos. Superman, which was, I mean, like it or not, Superman was much more profitable and much more successful than they had originally thought it was going to be. It ended up being very successful for them. Supergirl is a misstep, a pretty sizable misstep, for sure. But that's still 3 out of 4 that were at least good. Like, I know nobody was talking about Creature Commandos, but I really liked it. In fact, I ended up liking Creature Commandos more than I liked Peacemaker. And then, of course, to me, Superman was really good. I really enjoyed Superman. I know there's a lot of people that didn't like it, but I enjoyed it. So you've got 3 out of 4 that would be considered at least good. Not great, maybe, but at least good. Then we have Clayface, which looks super freaking interesting. To me, it does. I mean, anytime that you can make me almost want to like not look at the screen, that kind of gets my attention. And it's a freaking DC thing, you know? It's a Batman villain, and they're doing a whole movie about his origin. Okay, that seems interesting. Lanterns looks awesome to me. I don't like, I get it when people say, "Oh yeah, it looks too like this, too much like that." I don't care. I think it looks awesome. So Lanterns. And then of course next year you have Man of Tomorrow, the sequel to Superman. The issue isn't so much of will DC get rid of Gunn, because I don't know if that's the case. What's going to be interesting is if Paramount does take over Warner Brothers, will James Gunn even re-up his contract? So I think we're more in danger. Look, I like James Gunn a lot. Have I been 100% fan of everything he's done? No. But I love Guardians 1. Guardians 2 is pretty good. Guardians 3 is even better. So like Guardians 1's the best. To me, Guardians of the Galaxy is probably in my top 3 of the Marvel movies. I love that movie so much. I think it's so well done. I like what he's done so far with DC. I kind of wish they would focus a little bit more on maybe some A-tier characters. Call me crazy, but I think when you're starting a new universe, you want to kind of come out swinging a little bit. I mean, like I said, when I heard they were making a Clayface movie, I'm like, are you serious? You're going to make a Clayface movie before you make a Batman film? What? But I got to tell you, it looks good. So who knows? But I think before DC fires Gunn, I think you would have to wait until Man of Tomorrow came out. Now, if Man of Tomorrow comes out and completely sucks, if Lantern sucks, and if Clayface sucks, then yeah, maybe you start thinking about booting Gunn. But I think it's more likely that Gunn leaves than Gunn gets fired. But who knows? Who knows? And then Filbert, when I was talking about the Warner Brothers Paramount thing, he says, "I hope this stops it. I'm sick of billionaires just trying to put everything under 4 giant companies." I mean, I agree with that. But beyond that, it's just like, I mean, there's a lot of things that could go wrong there. But like I said, for me, it's all about the studio itself. I love Warner Brothers as a studio. I want Warner Archive to continue their amazing Blu-ray collections. I want their focus more than, I think they are the studio. And I'm not counting any of the boutiques, Criterion, Arrow, Second Sight, Vinegar Syndrome, any of those. They're the only studio that is putting out banger after banger every couple of months. Like last year or earlier this year, we had Ben-Hur, we got Gone with the Wind, 4K restoration coming. That looks insane. I mean, it looks so good. So Warner is the only one doing that. I want that to continue. And I don't know if Paramount will allow that to continue. So I have a selfish reason because I love Warner stuff. And I want them to continue doing that. But yeah, there's a whole number of reasons why Warner and Paramount coming together would be a bad idea, because Paramount is bleeding money right now. And they're considered junk stock by stockbrokers. And Paramount has said that with Warner Brothers under our umbrella, we're going to put out 30 movies a year. With what money? How are you going to get financing? When you're that far in debt, how are you going to get financing? There's so many questions. And that's way above my knowledge to know how they would even attempt to do that, being so far in debt. Because again, $110 billion that they're trying to buy Warner Brothers and all of those their little companies for. That's a lot of freaking money. I film epics all the time because I am epic. Also, I said this an hour ago. You might have, but I doubt it. I doubt that very seriously. Robert German says, I have Redux up next in my movie backlog. What is Redux? I'll tell you, there's I don't even know what movie this is. It's on Hulu, 97% Rotten Tomatoes score, IMDb score of 6.2, hour and 49 minutes. Huh. Okay. 2025 American science fiction thriller. Okay. In an attempt to avenge her daughter's death, Irene Kelly travels through parallel universes, killing her daughter's murderer over and over again. Interesting. Okay. And it's on Hulu. Michaela McManus, Stella Marcus, Grace Van Dien. I don't know any of these people. I mean, sounds like an interesting concept for a movie, though. I mean, this is what it looks like. So, there you go. Thanks, Robert. That's very interesting. I've never heard of it. Lou said, I don't understand how The Rock is treated as an A-tier actor when he's been on a good run of movies underperforming. Well, I mean, yeah, he definitely has. But he's also one of those actors that there are a lot of people out there that really love Dwayne Johnson or The Rock, whatever. I'm not one of those people. Like, it's not that I hate him. It's just that I don't think he's particularly a great actor that I've seen. I haven't seen The Smashing Machine. That's what he was up for, a lot of attention for, was The Smashing Machine. I don't know. But I think what it is there's still enough, he's still got enough credit with a lot of his movies that maybe weren't so great, but then overperformed, that people still like him and still want to make movies with him. At this point, who knows though? With Moana 2 tanking the way it is. And the thing that I don't understand, and this is one of those things that I'm sure Netflix has some sort of algorithms that look at this stuff, but it's like when a show underperforms, who do you blame? Do you blame the director? Do you blame the actors? Combination? Like, you could argue that the Flash movie that came out a few years ago kind of tanked because of what the guy who plays Flash. I don't anyway, it could be that. And that's the reason why the movie didn't do well. It could be that the trailers just didn't do well. It could be that DC as a kind of universe was already starting to fall apart and people kind of gave up on it. So who knows? How do you figure out where the problem is? Like, did Moana 2 fail because people looked at it and said, oh God, The Rock, I don't care? Or is it because, wait, don't we have, or it's Moana, it's not Moana 2, I'm sorry. Or did they say, didn't Moana, the animated movie that's great, didn't it just come out like 10 years ago? Why are we seeing a live action remake already? And maybe that's why. And maybe they're just like, I don't care. I mean, who knows? But I got to be honest with you, I'm kind of in that same boat. I'm not a huge fan of Dwayne Johnson. Like, I saw the rundown and was thinking, okay, finally we're getting a replacement for the action star. Like, there's even a scene where Arnold is walking down the hallway and The Rock is walking in and Arnold tells him to have fun. And like, when I saw that, and of course a lot of people picked up on that and talked about it, there's news items and stuff, it's like basically Arnold's passing the torch to The Rock. And I'm like, hell yeah, cool. And what does The Rock do? He starts doing these goofy movies. I don't know. And then I'm not going to count the Fast movies. I understand. Star Fox is here and he's a big fan. But I don't know. And yeah, right there. Pre-ordered Fast and Furious 25th anniversary. It's a thing. Everyone lies. It sucks. Hey, Filbert, how's the mustache? And then Filbert said the mustache is hidden the beard, though you're the second person today to ask me about it. Telling the truth is easy. Not always. Not always. Because how about when you tell the truth and no one seems to care? Yeah. It's a thing. It happens. It happens. So do what you want, fam. That's right, Ninjinzu. You want to throw down, dollars on here? Okay. You want to just not and just chill out? Okay, cool. Do you want to go watch the Odyssey in 70 millimeter IMAX? Yeah, go for it. Do it. Do you want to watch it on the smallest screen possible? Almost guaranteeing that you're going to be just one of a handful of people in that theater? Maybe that's what you prefer. I say do it, man. As long as you're watching the movie, as long as you're having a good time. And hey, you might be like, I'm not going to the theater for anything. It's not worth it. I'd rather wait until it comes out on streaming because it's a universal, right? So it'll be on Peacock. If that's what you want to do, wait. I don't even subscribe to Peacock. I'm going to wait for it to come on Tubi in 10 years. That's your prerogative, man. It's your prerogative. Whatever you want to do. But Filbert said, I'll mail you checks if you cancel it, Mr. Idiot. I'm just saying, look, it's a thing. Justin said, I can sponsor memberships next month and send out CDs to people. There you go. Pirates 4 and 5 are my Johnny Depp choices. You said not 3, so I said 4 and 5. From Hell. Oh, yeah. That's actually not a bad movie, but it's not my favorite of the Johnny films. But and then Starfox said, "Watch In Hell with JCVD. It's even better." Yeah, and see that's another one where it's a controversial take. That I'm not the biggest fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme. I know. Lou said, I say F him, Rob. I can't stand. He didn't say F him. Just saying. This is a free speech kind of chat. He said the word. He said, I say F him. I can't stand those YouTube channels with those weak, nerdy men that all they do is bashing and bitch about literally everything. I know, man. I know. It's one of those things where here's the thing. I totally understand it. I totally do. Because I've seen it on my own channel. That through no ill will, through no other reason than telling the truth, I got mad at The Crow last year. I got mad that it made so many weird decisions. But then I still ended the review by talking about the things that I think it did well. But I ranted about that movie. And guess what? It's one of the top viewed reviews on my channel in the last 2 years. And then I sit here and I tell the truth about all these other movies. And if I like it, man, it just doesn't get any traction. But if I did Project Hail Mary is the biggest piece of trash and, whatever, then I'd probably get a bunch of views. I can't do that. I could do that. I could completely lie, but I'm not doing that. And on top of that, if there's something that I don't like, I just won't talk about it. I mean, you're going to see here in a few minutes, you're going to see that may not be true because I'm going to talk about some older films that I can talk about. And man, I didn't like some of them. But for the most part, all I'm trying to say is if it's a movie that I'm like, if I can't say anything nice about the movie, I don't want to talk about it. And that's happened. That's happened multiple times. It's happened with fan edits. And it used to happen back when I was watching Indian films. And it's not because, Rob hates all Indian films. No, it just got to the point where so many of those films were so similar They had the same, and I didn't have the knowledge of all uh the different states over there, that I would watch something and I go, I feel like I'm watching the exact same movie I watched last week. And I was like, I'm not reviewing this because I didn't enjoy it. So, and that's the thing. It's like if I don't have something nice to say, I probably won't review it. That's why I'm going to tell you, there are some of those fan edits where I just didn't review them because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But then on top of that, I stopped it all, altogether. I've told people that before, but I've stopped reviewing fan edits altogether just because it's so subjective. If one is really like super out there and just makes me like rethink the movie completely. But the problem is I have to be really familiar with the movie. And in a lot of cases, they're doing a fan edit on a movie that I didn't like in the first place. So why would I want to watch your take on a movie that I don't like? So anyway, Fast and Furious, you're a fan of, Ricky. But yes, yeah. And I'll tell you, I think one of the better reviews for and I in the past I have been very critical of this channel. But I think Red Letter Media did a really good job on their Odyssey review. It was entertaining. Very well done. So, and then Robert said, "Oh, I got to see Dune in IMAX." Look, again, I saw. In fact, I didn't see the first Dune in theaters at all because that was during COVID, and I was, I mean, technically, I'm always on my Crohn's medication, and my doctor was like, "If you can, stay in the house because we don't know how bad this thing's gonna be." And that was right. That was right at the beginning of the COVID stuff, and so I didn't go out. I bought a ticket, but I didn't go see it. I watched it when it premiered on HBO Max. Remember it did that? But Dune 2, I saw in Dolby Vision or Dolby Cinema and was like, I love this. April didn't like it. She doesn't like the Dolby Cinema. She thinks it's too loud. But I think it is loud. But those speakers are better. Because my Cinemark, like I said, it was muffled. It sounded distorted. Dolby Cinema doesn't sound like that. It's just loud. And I get that. We also watched Furiosa there. It was awesome. And I don't think she liked that. Anyway. The only way I'll go see Doomsday is if Rufus is cast as Wolverine. Rufus, what do you think about that? Filbert said, I'll only see it, Justin, if Rufus is cast as Aquaman. Okay. Jody B, welcome, sir. Good to see you. I loved Superman. Both seasons of Peacemaker were great. I need to watch Creature Commandos. I do work with a Green Lantern currently, so I'm rooting for Gunn's DC stuff. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. There are some people, and I'm not going to mention names or anything like that, but there are some people, and look, I'm guilty of this too. But an actor does a movie that you're not a big fan of, or a director, right? They do a movie that you're not a big fan of, and then it can turn you off on that actor or director, and you don't want to see anything else from them. And I can understand it. If you watch something from James Gunn and you were like, I didn't like that, so I don't like this DC and where this is going. I get that. I understand. Whatever. But I always, and this is kind of a hard thing to do, but it's one of the reasons why I have stopped speculating about where an IP is going, where anything's going. I've tried to stop speculating completely. It's because to me, expectations can kill a movie experience, especially that first time that I think is so important, because you can only see a movie for the first time once. And I would prefer that first time, if it's a movie I really want to see, I would prefer that first time be in an amazing theater. Yes. That's what I prefer. But if people don't like James Gunn, I mean, I can understand it. But man, I go in there with as few expectations as humanly possible, and I try to take away all the thoughts of what this movie could be and just try to enjoy it. You know, that's what I try to do. I try to watch the movie on its own terms. I've said it so many times, right? You've heard it. You could probably all say it along with me. You ready? You ready? You can only watch a movie on its own time. Nah, I don't even know what like I'm directing. I'm a terrible conductor. But it's literally a movie can only be what it is. And your idea of what this story should be doesn't factor in. It shouldn't factor in. You should be able to judge the movie on its own terms. And that includes going to if you're going to a movie or seeing a movie that's 60, 70, 80, 100 years old. You have to meet the movie on its own terms and judge it on its own terms. Judge it when it came out and put yourself in that mindset. Oh, it's 1963. I don't know why I picked that, but I'm just saying, if you're watching a movie and it's from 1963, you can't go, well, I hope the CG doesn't suck, because there wasn't CG back in 63. So how did they do things? How did they put things together? Maybe there was some lens that you said, you know what, a better lens would have been better in this shot. Well, maybe that lens hadn't been invented yet. You know what I mean? There's so many things to think about. Now, I mean, you don't have to know every lens and every camera in history, but you have to judge it on its own merits. Does the movie work? Are the characters good? Is the acting good? Does it flow? Is the music good? And just enjoy it. Enjoy the movie and quit trying to put these roadblocks into what you might think about it. Originally, meet it on its own terms. Okay, I'm gonna quit saying any more about that because I feel like I'm talking in circles. But anyway, Justin said, you know that feeling when you meet someone and you have a feeling they're good people? I thought that could be you. Now I know it. Last comment of mine is for Filbert. There you go. Lou. Oh man, I did read about this. I mean, I don't typically focus too much on stuff that isn't like ready to come out or whatever. But yeah, the actor in God of War TV show tore his bicep and has to be replaced halfway through shooting. Would you reshoot the whole season or just plug in new actor like nothing happened? Well, see, here's the thing, Lou. Not only are they going to have to replace the actor, but they're probably going to have to replace the kid actor too. Because it's going to be a while before they recast, and by the time they recast, that kid is probably going to grow up some. So he's no longer going to look like the kid. You know what I mean? And you can't just superimpose him in there. I mean, you probably could, but I mean, they're probably shooting for a level of quality in this show, and they don't want to compromise that way. So that is a bummer all the way around. It's a bummer for the actor who worked so hard to get that role. He worked out for months to bulk up to be Kratos. All of those things. It's kind of a heartbreaking thing that happened to that guy. It really is. It's sad all around. And then again, if they have to recast the kid, because they shot 4 episodes. So, and apparently when you tear your bicep like that, and I've never seen this, and I honestly, it kind of freaks me out to even think about what it would even be like. But it's almost like a deflated balloon. And then what happens is there's, months and months of rehab on top of the fact that he's going to atrophy in that time. So they expect that it would take him a year to come back to the role, and they can't wait that long. So it's that is so, and it's a guy from Sons of Anarchy, which is another show that people have said, oh my God, you haven't seen Sons of Anarchy? You gotta see that. There's a lot of shows that I haven't seen. The Wire, even, But anyway, yeah. So it's a bummer. I hate hearing news like that, because you can almost feel the disappointment and the crushing despair that probably he's gone under. Because, I mean, he's probably fought for a long time to get a role like this. And then to be injured like that, it just sucks. It just sucks, man. Rufus said, I don't need to be casted. I am Wolverine, just taller. You can heal? You have an adamantium skeleton? Lou said, have you seen the new Rocky trailer? Looks great. Stallone never gets the credit of being such an incredible screenwriter. I mean, didn't he win an Oscar for that? I mean, I get what you're saying. But no, I still have not seen the trailer yet. And it's not for any other reason but because I just haven't gotten around to watching it. It's one of those where I'm like, oh, I need to watch that. And I just never got around to seeing it. Starfalk said, you mean the Stallone trailer about playing Rocky? Yeah. And it's in the Discord. I just haven't watched it yet because I'm an idiot, I guess. So there you go. Filbert said, to each their own, but I thought that Rocky trailer was a comedy at first. I love the first two movies, but man, the trailer, the meat is frozen solid. Haha. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the trailer. And then Justin said, The Rock is greatest actor of our generation. Well, think about this. For a few years in a row, the top two paid actors were, and this could be, it's kind of like, they do the top athletes. And a lot of times they factor in, like sponsorships and things like that, or things that they own to basically, oh, these are the athletes that are worth the most. But the top two actors for years were The Rock and Ryan Reynolds. And there's a lot of Ryan Reynolds hate out there. Like me, I can sort of understand, especially if you buy into the fact that, when he's not playing, he very rarely doesn't play a smartass. So it kind of makes you think he's just a smartass. But also all the extracurricular news and all that kind of stuff could probably turn people off of Ryan Reynolds, the Blake Lively stuff. All that stuff can be whatever. I never had a problem with Ryan Reynolds. I mean, the first time that I ever realized that it was him was in Van Wilder. And I loved that movie. I watched that movie so many times when it came out on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever it was at the time. Okay, I don't see it over here, so it may be on the other side. I'm pretty sure I own that movie though, and I'm pretty sure I like it. And then of course I like the Deadpool movies. I mean, like Deadpool 2 is okay, but Deadpool and Wolverine, I had a great time. I mean, I understand though if you don't like Ryan Reynolds, but he's another one where a lot of people are like, I'm tired of seeing Ryan Reynolds play Ryan Reynolds. There you go. Your next review just angrily review the movie positively. How dare Holland act well enough to make me emotional? That prick, I'm a man. I need my emotions suppressed. Yeah, maybe. And then Stopfalk says, how dare Holland be in anything? He sucks. I don't like him, so obviously that means anything and everything he does is bad. Tallverine is bestverine. I mean, Hugh Jackman is definitely way taller than what Wolverine actually calls for, but yeah. But I love Tom Holland. I'm sorry. I know. I like Tom Holland and I love Spider-Man. So, Ricky, look, just this once, I'll give you the opportunity or I'll give you the permission to not have to watch my Spider-Man review. Okay? All right. Good. Robert said, anyone else watching X-Men 97? I've been really enjoying it. Also happy to see Gambit is going to be in Doomsday, though I question the casting choice. Well, he was in Doomsday Doomsday. He's already in Doomsday. He was in the Deadpool versus Wolverine movie, right? And it's one of those where he had been campaigning for years to play Gambit. And I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. But I mean, it could be good. It could be good. Now, I will also say that X-Men 97, I loved the first season, and I just haven't gotten around to watching the second season. I haven't been watching a lot of TV other than well, I finished Star City, and of course I've been watching House of the Dragon, which I love. So, that good old hot D, you know. Um, but yeah, I just haven't gotten around to seeing it yet. So, I definitely do want to see it. Filbert said, I don't really get turned off from watching anything if it has an actor or director I don't like. If the movie looks good, I'll give it a chance. Yeah. I mean, you kind of have to, I mean, especially, there are some actors that are just going to be in so many movies that if you don't like them, you're going to not end up watching a lot of the movies. And I'm sorry, but I'm a movie guy. I can't afford to do that. So even though Mark Wahlberg is not my favorite actor by any means, if there's a movie that looks good and I want to watch it and he's in it, guess what? I'm watching it. So I get it. Unless it's a movie like Seven Samurai, because it still holds up. I mean, Seven Samurai is a fantastic film. The only expectation is if the director or lead role is an actual trash person. But see, that's the thing. It's I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's also, who makes that determination? So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. Lou said, with Gunn, I see the colorfully light, happy superhero movies. To me, that's MCU. I was enjoying the darker, more serious stuff that Snyder was doing as a counter. And Lou, I get that. I understand that. But did you watch James Gunn's Suicide Squad? Because I thought that was more in line with the Snyder verse, I guess. And of course, he made that when it wasn't. I think it was already kind of in decline, I guess, because that was COVID. I get what you're saying, but you also have to understand too, Superman is by definition and this is the problem that I had with the Snyderverse, is that the Superman movies didn't feel like Superman to me. I mean, it felt like, ooh, it's this darker take or whatever, but Superman is almost by definition a positive character. And you would think that they should be a little bit more colorful. Snyder's movies are very muted. Like, all of his movies feel very, very muted to me. I mean, I can't even think of what's his brightest movie, like his, and it's not that it needs to be like just like the comic book, but I did not mind. Color wise, that's not something that I had a problem with Gunn's version. I don't know. It's dude, it's all kinds of things. And I think it's sort of like you can't really judge the MCU by the first 3 or 4 movies either. You kind of have to wait till you get into that second phase before things really start to kick in and you can start to look and see, okay, this is kind of the style. But one of the things that I liked about the way they were doing things is that every movie still felt pretty distinct and different. The Snyder movies all felt like Snyder movies to me. And there wasn't really this change in tone. And maybe, like I said, maybe they just didn't get the chance. But the one thing that, I hope at this point we can all agree on is the fact that those movies were not well received. There may be people like you or me that liked certain movies out of the DCU or whatever. And, I definitely liked some more than others. But man, they just did not, overall, they did not do well. The 2 biggest movies out of the DCU were Wonder Woman and Aquaman. That even Batman versus Superman, which should be like a no-brainer, still didn't make a ton of money. So there's so many different ways that could have gone. I just think he went a little too dark and a little too, I don't know. That's just my opinion, but I honestly love Man of Steel. Even though that's where the problems really started. If you look at any of the people that look at the Snyder movies as or the DC. Is it DCU or DCE? Whatever it is, the Snyderverse. If some people are critical of the Snyderverse, they'll usually point at, well, look at Man of Steel. That's where all the problems started. And I'm like, I like Man of Steel a lot. I watched that movie a lot because I loved it. And there are parts of Batman v Superman that are awesome. Now, I liked Wonder Woman pretty well, but then you get to that first Justice League movie, and then that's where it really went off the rails because it felt so tonally different. It's because Joss Whedon took over. And then problems and problems and problems and problems. Didn't really care for Aquaman, even though a lot of people like that one. Wonder Woman was good. So yeah, I mean, the DCU was just all over the place anyway. But I get what you're saying. I do. I just don't think that you can't really judge everything that Gunn's doing so far just by Superman, because Superman should be the brighter, the more positive movie, right? Because it's, it's effing Superman. Anyway. Rob, thoughts on American History X? I have to take my medication. So I'll come right back and answer you on that, Justin. Okay, so I'll be right back. Just give me a couple minutes, get some stuff. I'll be right back. Okay, I'll be right back. Blah, blah, blah. American History X. Did I miss anything? Probably didn't. We still have to talk about this. So, and the movies and books that I watched this week, or whatever, read and watched. Anyway, American History X. Great movie, like really well acted. Tore my heart out at the end. I mean, just a very, very well done movie. Superbly acted. Never watch that movie again. And it also pinpoints one of the things about Edward Norton. I think Edward Norton is one of our best actors working today. I mean, I don't know. I honestly can't tell you. Like he kind of got um almost like Hollywood was working against him and trying to not give him roles or something. And I don't know if it was because of political reasons or whatever. I don't even know. I don't know if it's because he got in trouble. I don't know anything about it. All I know is, judging on his acting, he's one of the best actors. Period. Like, I love Edward Norton. Um so yeah, a fantastic movie, never watched it again. So stuff out. Look at me, I'm Ryan. I'm being a smartass Ryan in every movie. I mean, he kind of is. But I like it. Like, I like it's kind of like for a while there, it was like being sarcastic and being a smartass really got a lot of attention on all the social media stuff. And now a lot of people are trying to be sarcastic or whatever, and it just comes off as mean. Have you noticed that? A lot of people probably they're tired of Ryan in that same way. I'm still not tired of him, and maybe it's because I only watch a few movies here and there. I don't watch all the crap movies on, like, I'm sorry, I don't watch crap movies on Netflix. I didn't watch Red Notice. Okay. So there you go. Rick Chaos. Oh my God. I'm afraid to even ask what I missed. I mean, you didn't miss much. Rob gave out a new car to everyone in chat in the first 30 minutes. Wow. But I love Tom Holland. Starfox. I do. I think he's great. But anyway. Thank God I didn't win. I can't drive. I'm actually a race car driver. Really? Do you remember that scene in the Blues Brothers where they crashed all those police cars? I was police car number 22. He might as well marry the Odyssey at this point. Who, me? Like I said, I'm a 7.5 out of 10. 3 out of 4 stars. I absolutely appreciate the filmmaking skill of Christopher Nolan, and what a director of his level can pull off is insane. I still don't think it's the best movie. In fact, I don't even think it's in my top 3. It may be my top 5, maybe. I'd have to really sit and think about it. But no, to me, Inception, Dark Knight, Oppenheimer, just off the top of my head, those are better. In fact, I even would say that that Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises is something I would rather watch again than the Odyssey. But I still need to see it again. And then Jinzu said, dude, the Digger trailer looked nuts. I don't know what the F was going on. I don't think anybody does. Ninjinzu, and that's why I'm really interested in it. It seriously could be a modern day Doctor Strangelove. Now, if you are one of those people that say Stanley Kubrick, man, he's one of those directors that he's just up his own ass, and all that kind of stuff, and he's overrated and all that kind of stuff. Whatever. I get it. I understand if you feel that way, But you need to watch Doctor Strangelove. It's definitely, without a doubt, Stanley Kubrick's funniest movie. It is fantastic. It is a fantastic movie, and you will laugh your ass off. Seriously, I can't see anybody not laughing at least 3 times in that movie. That movie's great. It's one of those movies that I don't own, that I'm really looking forward to that Kubrick set coming out at the end of the year, because I'm going to own that because it's great. Anyway, this might be a modern day Doctor Strangelove, or it could be like Mickey 17. Mickey 17 is another movie that disappointed me greatly. So I call shenanigans on the numbers they're claiming they pulled. I think that's all a big fat lie. I don't understand how that's possible. If you're talking about the Odyssey, I'm trying to read. I don't know. I don't know how that's possible. How can multiple like non studio heads or studio people, all these independent sources, report the box office numbers just like they have for Years. If that's what you're talking about, I don't understand how that's possible that it's a lie. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I like a Snyder movie that isn't The Dark Knight. So you don't like Snyder movies? I don't get it. He didn't direct The Dark Knight. Or maybe you meant a Nolan movie. I don't know what you're talking about, Filbert. You confuse me. You confuse me. You give love a bad name. I don't even care anymore until I hear some good news. I'm checking out completely. They're not worth my made up fake statistic. It's hard to not say nothing if I got nothing to good say, but what? I'm confused, Rick Chaos. You never heard someone lie to you before. But these are independent sources. These are not, this isn't just a studio. This isn't just, that's because you read stuff late. I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, yeah, but I did take a quick break. I mean, I apologize, but I don't know what you're talking about. But no, I don't believe that the box office numbers are fake. No, I don't. And if you think that those are fake, then prove it. Because I don't think you can. And just because, like, if you don't like something, that doesn't mean, again, this is a problem when people start, I don't like something, so I'm going to distrust it. Okay. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. There are multiple sources that are reporting this. It's not universal reporting this. It's not Christopher Nolan going, "Hey, tell them that I got all of this money." No, these are independent sources that are reporting box office numbers. I don't know what to tell you. And if you think that, I mean, I just don't, I don't, I don't get it. I don't understand. Anyway, like I feel like you're coming at me, and I don't know why, because I believe the box office numbers. I don't get it. But anyway, let's move on. Minnie the Mocha, she was a low down. I don't even know what. Uh, Definitely not coming at you. Relax. Okay. Well, I got. You said stuff with a little stank on it, so it's hard not to get a little upset, especially when you're telling me not to believe the places that have been reporting this stuff like accurately for, you know, dozens of years. You know, Box Office Mojo has been reporting all this stuff correctly for years, but I can't believe them now because you didn't like the movie. Is that what you're saying? Like, I don't know. Anyway, uh, Welcome to Wrexham is an amazing real life story. I've heard that. I've actually heard that. I didn't tell you not to believe it. I told you I didn't believe it. Big difference. Okay. So you don't believe it, but based on what? Like I don't understand. How can you look at Box Office Mojo and say that's not real? Or how can you look at, I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Stop, folks. That's a good point. Maybe we should just all chill. Let's all just chill and just say, hey, we're all movie fans here. And there are going to be movies that you like that I don't like. There's going to be movies that I don't like, or vice versa. Whatever. You get what I'm saying. But it's not all a damn conspiracy, you know? Filbert, I'm not. Thanks. I don't talk politics. Uh Ed Norton is a better actor than The Rock by many times. I'm just saying, many times. A 97% approval rating. If that's not a crock of shit, I've never heard one. Yeah. And all that means is that 97% of the people were ended up liking the movie. It doesn't mean, just like I liked the movie, but I wouldn't have given it almost a 10 out of 10. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. But in a world where these are your only choices, I give it a thumbs up. There are things I didn't like about the movie, which I talked about in my review. But that means, and just like there was a lot of people in here that said, hey, I had a problem with this, I had a problem with that, I had a problem with this, but I still like the movie, even though it's not perfect. So, I don't know. Anyway, the movie lied. Casinos are portrayed so much funnier, only later to discover they don't use coins. Everyone half dead in there pressing one button. I'm not sure what. And Chris, welcome, sir. Good to see you. Yes, Filbert. Doctor Strangelove is great. It really is good. And Robert agrees too. It's got a lot of people to talk to. See, I miss pre-social media when everyone became a conspiracy because people just disagree with it. I mean, Moocher. People hide behind their keyboards, think they know better because they're in their own echo chamber. I mean, look. I mean, I totally, Jody B, yeah, that does happen. But the problem is there are a lot of people out there that find themselves in a situation where they like something that others don't, or they don't like something that everybody loves. And the fact is, art is subjective and nobody cares. Like, for example, if you said, I didn't like the Odyssey because of this, and this, I'd go, okay. I mean, honestly, that's as much as it affects me. And I'm not going to sit here, and if something I love, like I absolutely love the movie Strange Darling that came out a couple years ago. Or a year ago, whenever it came out. I love that movie. Many people came in the chat and said, I didn't like it. I didn't care for it. I didn't even finish it. Okay, well, I mean, I'm just telling you, I really liked it. And honestly, my favorite movie of last year was The Life of Chuck. How many people have watched that? But, you know, it's all good, man. Freaking art is subjective, you know? So, it's just politics. People want to believe that the movie is going to fail. They believe it should fail. Wait. So to say it's an epic adventure and one of the greatest movies ever filmed is the funniest shit I've ever heard. But how do you know if you haven't seen it? That's all I'm going to say. The fact is, a lot of people went in there, like I went in there going, I think this is probably going to be a pretty good movie. And I came out of going, yeah, it was a pretty good movie. But it's not, it is quite epic. And it's kind of amazing that a lot of the stuff that he does in that movie is filmed for real. And as somebody who's watched literally thousands of movies and in a lot of ways can tell you how something was done, there are moments where I'm like, I don't know how he did that. So somebody that's, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm the end all be all or anything like that. I'm just saying from a technical standpoint, it's super impressive. I mean, sure, we may disagree on the casting. We may disagree on a lot of things. But just the filmmaking process is impressive. I don't know. So look, I understand that, you know, you seem to be, I mean, look, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I was going to say you seem bent out of shape. You're not. But the fact is, you haven't seen the movie yet. You just said you haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. I don't know. Uh, and Bucho, welcome, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you. Odyssey was a banger, maybe not 100%. Rufus said, I had someone flip out on me earlier because I said I like Starfield. Autistic strong sense of justice has these Reddit warriors out of control. Uh, yeah, Ninjinzu said Odyssey was a banger, maybe not 100%, but definitely watchable. I don't know about you. I don't go see movies that has a cast of only one person I actually like in it. That's not me. I mean, look, I 100% get that. I do. If there's a bunch of actors in it you don't like, yeah, I can see maybe not watching it. But there's nobody in the movie that I haven't watched a movie and liked at least some of the movies that they've been in. But I also, like I said, I watch a ton of movies. And if I try to do that, it would really preclude a lot of movies for me. So I'm just saying, some of those actors surprised the hell out of me with how good their performance was. But I get it. Uh, Someone has inspired me to do create a Rotten Tomatoes account for the first time. I don't see movies with shitty casts. I mean, again, that's opinion, and that's fine. That's fine. Uh, Aside from regretting that I wasn't on that beach, the Blue Angels jet did a flyby at 31 feet altitude this week. I mean, that was pretty cool. I did see that too, Bucho. That's some cool stuff. Okay, Rick. Rick, I'm just gonna say this. Okay, I'm I'm definitely one of those people that I value opinions, especially art is subjective, right? But you seem to be really harping on the fact that you don't only not want to see this movie, you don't want other people to see this movie. And you seem to be very combative. And I'm just going to say I've always like uh I can't remember this, like I feel like this is your first time really doing this kind of thing. But you need to chill a little bit. We're all friends here, you know? And there's people that just want to fight on the internet, and I don't want to fight. And if that's what you want to bring to this stream, maybe find another place that that you can go. I'm trying to be nice here. And you came in pretty hot, dude. So maybe chill a little bit. None of us are your enemy. Okay? You don't like Tom Holland. You don't like Anne Hathaway. You don't like Matt Damon. You don't like John Leguizamo. That's fine. That's fine. But you have to, if you want respect, you have to actually respect everybody else here too. And maybe all of your opinions, maybe, chill out. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Uh, Favorite Matt Dillon movie? Ooh, God. The weird thing about Matt Dillon is he's one of those actors to me that for a long time he was kind of playing, again, another situation where you have an actor kind of playing the same role over and over and over. I mean, sure, most people would probably say something like The Outsiders or whatever, but for me, There's Something About Mary is probably one of my favorites because it was so totally 100% in the other direction of what I thought Matt Dillon was going to be. So, Yeah. There you go. Uh yeah, Warehouse Dave. I mean the Elliot Page thing is definitely a big deal, and I get that. And of course the Helen of Troy. But these are again, these are parts in the movie that are so small, like such a small percentage. But again, there's I don't know. There's people that just I don't know, man. They can't get over that. And I that's fine. But like the thing that I don't understand, and maybe okay, all right, dude. Um, I'm sorry. I don't want to do this. But you're timed out, Rick. All you're doing is talking hate. All you're doing is you're talking hate. Okay? So I don't honestly want to read any more of your posts. So you can chill, but if you do it again, I'll just you go somewhere else to do that, because that's not I mean seriously, if you've been here longer than 5 minutes, you know that that's not the kind of channel this is. And I'm not saying that your opinion I tried to talk to you and you kept coming at me and you kept coming at others here. And that's not what this show is about. This show is all about us all being able to have an opinion and respecting everybody else. And that's it. So 5 minutes. Stare at the wall. Look, I mean, again, I'm not trying to but when whatever. Let's just move on. Okay? The not believing box office I don't get. But anyway, I can't watch a movie and believe it because it's a movie and I'm not a house pet. I mean, yeah, but 8-Bit Taco says, I once downloaded Star Wars on LimeWire only to realize it was the adult version. I wasn't as disappointed as I thought it would be. I mean, that did happen a lot back in the day. Of course, a lot of what happened too is that it would be, you download something and you think it's going to be whatever, and then you download it and it's like, I don't know, some kind of like snuff film. Man, those days were rocky back then. You were definitely you were flipping a coin back then. You never knew what you were going to get. Um yeah, man. Let's just skip some of this stuff. Top 3 scenes focused on a butt. Well, yeah. Matt Dillon killed it, and I mean, for sure. For sure. For sure. The America's ass moment in Endgame, for sure. That's probably one of the best ones. That's probably one of the best ones. Yeah, that was a fun moment. Uh Only thing that surprised me about the Odyssey is anyone being surprised a movie by Chris Nolan is number 1, raking in mega dollars, or 2, getting rated real well. I mean, that's true. I mean, it's he's literally one of the biggest filmmakers. I mean, like, he's not only a great filmmaker, but he's a filmmaker that, for whatever reason, Gen Z seems to be really focused on. Like, they feel like to Gen Z, Christopher Nolan is their Steven Spielberg. And until the end of his career, there are going to be people in that Gen Z. I mean, I'm one of them too. I will follow Chris Nolan wherever he goes. Again, I heard, hey, Chris Nolan's making a movie. What? Great. I'm in. What's it about? Don't know, don't care. I'm watching it. So so yeah. I mean, you're right, Bucho. You're right. Chris Nolan made a movie about a friggin' physicist that killed it at the box office. Pretty much every Nolan movie has 85% plus at Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. I didn't want to have to mod anyone. Yeah, exactly. Opinions are like assholes. Loud ones aren't allowed here. I don't know about that, Rufus. I just, when you walk in the door and you're immediately picking fights. I don't know. Yeah, something about Mary. Yeah. Funny movie, man. And there's Frodo's boy. Welcome, sir. Good to see you. I mean, again, it was a fart joke. I was not going for funny, not factual. Oh, gotcha. But the thing is like, I still think that we're allowed to have a debate, but when you won't listen, I don't know, you won't calm down. Like, just calm down. Everything's cool. We're like I said, I mean, I think most of us will agree. We're all friends here. I can't wait for you to post this with the chat. All right. We see ya. Yeah. That's it. We won't worry about it anymore. Let's see. Yeah, I know, but I mean, the thing is like, I just don't understand. Like, why come, like, seriously, what? I don't get it. I don't get it, dude. Matt, go get a Starbucks. Go get a Starbucks. Thank you, Ricky. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'll be right back. I'm not broken. I just I need a minute. So Okay. I'm yeah, it does take a lot to yeah. I have a pretty thick skin, but yeah. So anyway, I wanted to show off a couple things. These are yeah, you're right, but I mean, gotta say, what you said wasn't much better. Kind of pissed me off. So maybe just um anyway, let's just move on. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So just everybody chill, okay? Please. Um, so my mother-in-law is moving, and she has some equipment that she wants to get rid of. She almost just threw it all away, and I said, "Wait, whoa, wait a minute. Let's just see." Okay. The first thing she has is a DS. Now the problem with this DS is, and when you turn it on, it does turn on and it does charge. I thought it wasn't charging or whatever. I think I just had it in a plug that was off or something. I don't know what happened. But yeah, the hinges like that, which is not good. And then when you turn it on, it's just the Nintendo DS logo comes up and then it's just a white screen, which I've heard could be multiple different issues. I don't know if this is worth messing with. But then we got a Nintendo 3DS. Cram some paper in the hinge. I don't. Everything I'm reading says it could be multiple things. It could be Wi Fi. It could be the ribbon. It could be a lot of things. But I mean, of the three of them, this one is in. I mean, it looks like it's been. Like, she beat this one up. So, anyway, this one works completely.
That DS was unhinged like us.
I mean, maybe, but I appreciate it. Thank you, but let's everybody chill now. Okay, let's just move on. Anyway, yeah, this one. Where's the freaking dude? I turned this on before. Where's the freaking power button? Oh, it's right there. This one works fine. I think. Yeah, this one works fine. Everything works. It's got the stylus, all that stuff. It's just a little dirty. So yeah, that's a thing. What games did the mother-in-law play on it? Like Mario, a couple of Mario games, and I mean, I posted a picture on the Discord, if you're interested, but um, the black one is definitely in the worst shape. This one at least powers on. The charging port is loose. So if you put the charging port in or the cord in, it's not it doesn't charge. But then if you pull it over to the left a little bit, it'll charge. So so this one works, but the charging port is a little wonky. But the star of the show is it won't focus. Focus on my hand. There you go. New Nintendo 3DS XL, which is in great shape. Great shape. Those are my fingerprints. This one is like almost unused. And it also powers on great. Well, eventually. But yeah, this one is in great shape. I turned the 3D off. But yeah, so I got to be honest, I'm trying to figure out, is this one worth so much because I mean, like I said, it's in really good shape. I kind of want to keep it, or, buy it from her and possibly mod it. But the problem is, I think this may be, because it's in such good shape, it may be worth so much that I can't really afford to do that. But yeah, it's in such good shape. I mean, it looks great. I mean, there are no marks on it. I mean, it's great. It's really it's really in good shape. So, that's what I have. And yeah. So if anybody, like, especially the DS and the older 3DS, I would be curious exactly what I should do. But yeah. Yeah. Um Cram some paper in the hinge. Yeah, oh yeah. Not I don't think I'm doing that. That DS was unhinged. Like us. I mean, a little bit. But thank you. Thank you again. Again, the support, I really do appreciate it. But let's see. Don't put paper there, just fix it right. If the Wi-Fi board's wire come loose, the system won't boot. That's part of making a Game Boy macro. I can easily mod them for you. Easy fix on the charge port. Dang the XL. I know. $100? I've seen that one go for much more than that. In that kind of shape. Now, the other thing too is that I don't know if it's an IPS screen or not, because I think, don't you have to mod it to see? Here's a question. I'll ask this. If I mod it and do the whole, not through a what do you call it? Like an SD cart, but actually, do the whole mod thing. Can you not put it back to regular at that point? Or does that decrease the value at all? Because I might just want to play with it and then sell it. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of want to play with it. And see what it's all like. But I don't know. Soft mod it, you can return it to normal. See, I don't know what that means. Easy fix on the charge port. Good colors on them. The red is nice on the 3DS. I have $15. Wait, $15 Canadian pesos. Let's start the bid. I still play my 3DS a lot. See, here's the thing. In fact, I think I had like a black one of these that I sold a long time ago. The 3DS, the regular 3DS, not the new one, not the XL, none of that. And I liked it fine, but then I got kind of tired of it. But figuring out that you can mod it and do all kinds of stuff with it, I was kind of like, that looks kind of cool, and it'd be cool to play some of the DS games and things that I never got around to playing. I don't know. It's worth a lot because Nintendo. Yeah. I remember as a kid when my Pokemon Red Blue came out and everyone went crazy with the handhelds. Keep it or buy it. Yeah, but man, again, I don't. Basically, it's like this. I would want to pay her what someone else would pay for it, because she deserves that. Right? So if somebody wanted to buy it for, say, I'm just throwing a number out here, but if somebody said, I'll buy it for 300, I shouldn't give her any less than $300. But if somebody says, oh, I don't, the most that I would probably pay for that would be, and if I'm willing to pay for that, then I should pay for that. The problem is I don't know. I've seen them as low as 200. But in that shape, I've seen them. Well, yeah, I saw one, Filbert, that was when I was looking earlier, I saw it for I saw it for $200, but it was scuffed up and it looked like crap. This one looks almost unplayed. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm like, I don't know. So anyway, I would like just some thoughts on the regular 3DS and the regular DS too, though. If you guys like, and again, we don't have to get into it right now, but whatever. 3DS go for a lot now. I know some colors go for a lot of money. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that too. The DS would be great for a macro mod. You can make it normal but value. I've sold my modded ones for the same prices. Mod it via software, soft not gotcha. Okay. It's cool tinkering with it, then you play for a tiny bit, and then you're done. Kind of like the Steam Deck, PC handhelds, and Retroids. Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I'm kind of like, I think it'd be fun for a while, but I don't know. I see Red XL like that going for one. Oh yeah, I already read that one. Something about the new 3DS XL from Kingsley a few years ago, either Triforce, Majora's Mask. Can't recall which. I think he paid $160 in 2019. Yeah, I saw some of the special ones going for much more than that. So I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, that's a thing. So let's go over. I'm just not in the mood. I don't care. Look, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm not used to that kind of talk in my chat, and I don't appreciate it. And it throws me off because I'm not used to that. So, anyway. Hinge you can replace. Replacement parts are not that expensive. It's more just opening and swapping from what I see. Miyu Mini to scratch that itch, but there's nothing magical about original hardware. I mean, you're right, but at the same time, though, playing some of the 2DS and 3DS games that I never got around to playing, it would be better on here than it would be because I have a Steam Deck and I have one of the Ambernicks. But I don't know. I'll probably just end up selling all of it at some point. Not worried about fixing it. Just freaking somebody else buy it so I can give my mother-in-law some money, you know. So anyway, I don't know what to do now. Oh, there's something magical about original hardware. Gotcha. Gotcha. Family discount? Yeah, but again, if I don't need any more trinkets. I don't need any more gadgets. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like I kind of want to just sell it for her and just get it sold, and that way she can take that money and use it to do something with. I know that she'd probably just go, "Oh, I'll just take $100 for it, honey," and it would not be a big thing. But knowing that I could probably get her more, I should probably try to get her more. And I'm not willing to pay that. Like I wouldn't pay $250 for that, but I'm not in the market for it, and I don't care. So, uh, Rufus said, "I'll buy the broken DS. I broke my Game Boy Macro. Bummed me the f out. LOL. I opened that thing like 8 times modding it. Ah. Well, I mean, again, we'll chat. We'll chat about it. But anyway, um, yeah, I just after the day that I had, and feeling like I wasn't gonna stream, it's just a shame. I don't understand why people feel like they have to do that. Thank you, Jody B. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. I've got so much bullshit. Like I don't need any more toys, but at the same time, it's kind of like it could be fun though. So I don't know. You're rejoining. Oh, I know you are. I know you are. I appreciate it. And you're yellow 42 now. I don't even know what that means. No, I get you, Rufus. I get that. It's just that it throws me off my game, and it just kind of I don't know. All right. Well, I finished reading The Count of Monte Cristo. This was a freaking I mean, dude, this book was massive. Just the audio version of the book was 55 hours. And I've seen them in the bookstores. This is a big ass book, you know? So I finished it. And you know what? It was pretty great. It was pretty great. I'm really glad that I spent the time. Now, it took me almost 2 months to read it. But it was, man, it was great. It was really great. So yeah, I've been reading that, like I said, on and off for 2 months. Um, Mostly at night, that kind of thing. But man, what a great thing. And what was cool about it is that through Audible, and I have a Kindle, these were free, you know. So any of the classics, and I've been wanting to read more classics anyway, just to kind of like round myself out. I don't know what I'm going to read next, classic wise. But no, I've really been enjoying it. I mean, some of you guys turned me on to the Aldous Huxley, and I think that's his name. And then read 1984 and Animal Farm. That was great. And then Brave New World. So anyway, I'm enjoying going through classics. So that was one of them. But now I'm on to book 4 of Stormlight, Rhythm of War. I freaking love these books, man. I love this series. I really enjoy Sanderson. So I just started it, so I haven't gotten too far into it. But yeah. Yeah. So far, I like it. The first couple hours into, and by the way, this one is 57 hours. So this is technically longer than Count of Monte Cristo, which this is saying something. Oh, going back to Monte Cristo actually. So I watched the 2002 Guy Pearce, Jim Caviezel, right? I don't know if you saw that one. Henry Cavill is actually in it. And it's directed by Kevin Reynolds, who did Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He did Waterworld. Anyway, I'm watching this. And what I did was I was like, what I wanted to do was like read up to a certain point, and then kind of when I come up to like a pivotal point in the book, I want to watch the movie up to that point. So yeah, there was like, I got up to like an hour and a half in the movie and then still had like 600 pages left. Like there was like a lot of the book left. And I'm like, how am I already caught up? And it's because there's a lot that's kind of in the middle of Count of Monte Cristo that they're kind of side stories, but they build the situation so that when the Count of Monte Cristo kind of gets them, it's a big payoff. So it was interesting though. It was interesting doing that. And there are things that I like about the movie version better than the book version, but the book was great. I highly recommend it. And yeah, Rhythm of War, awesome. The first movie that I watched here, and again, I've told you, or maybe you remember, I've been kind of going through a lot of my digital films, and any of them that were part of some set or some deal that I got, I've been going through and watching some of the movies that I hadn't watched before. And some of these are better than others. The first one Dick. Now, I'm just going to tell you, I was a little afraid to search for the poster. Didn't know what was going to come up. Thankfully, it wasn't so bad. But this was actually pretty good. Like, there are things that I really liked about it. Is it great? No. But this is, late 90s, mid-budget, kind of interesting idea. So it's basically the Watergate scandal with Richard Nixon. And these two teenage girls may have, and again, in the story, may have possibly had something to do with Watergate and the cover up and all kinds of stuff. It was actually kind of interesting. But it was one of those where it's kind of like, okay, I get it. Can we wrap this up, please? You know what I mean? Because it's that very mid 90s, whatever. And then first time I'd ever seen it. Oh, by the way, that's another thing here. All of these I'd never seen before. Okay. And for whatever reason, I hadn't seen Airplane 2. Never seen it. I don't know why, but I'd never seen it. And maybe it's because Airplane 2 has more just random nudity in it. And this is PG, by the way. And maybe my parents didn't want me to see it or whatever. I don't know. But I was never allowed to see this. Wasn't actually allowed to see the first one. But yeah, there were parts that I thought were pretty funny. Overall, it's inferior to the original in every way. And I know there's probably people that love it, but I was kind of like, nah. So yeah, Airplane 2. Then the next one was one that I remember. Dude, I remember when this came out, and I was kind of like, this seems like an odd choice for this actor to play this role. And it was. But again, this is another one of those movies where, oh, by the way, in Dick was one of Ryan Reynolds' first movies, and he's really young in it, and he looked odd. He just looked young. Anyway, I forgot to mention that. I had it as a note. I forgot. But yeah, so this movie, again, an actor of his caliber doing a movie like this at this point in his career was like, and these are the kind of movies that they used to make all the time. You used to get movies like this all the time. Jack Nicholson as a werewolf, and Michelle Pfeiffer and James Spader. And this was a weird movie, man. Like, there were things that I really liked about it. And then I was sitting there going, what is the score? Who did the score? Does it say on there? Ennio Morricone. So Godfather. It was weird, man. This was an odd film, man. An odd film. James Spader actually was pretty good in it, as he is in just about anything I've seen him in. He's just one of those solid actors. But again, this was also one of those things where it's like I saw everything coming from a mile away. So it's kind of like, okay, how much is left in the runtime? Oh, okay, another hour and a half. Gotcha. All right. But anyway, interesting. And Michelle Pfeiffer she was a good looking woman. And then this was another one, like I said, never saw. 1977, I believe. Weird movie. The Deep. Now, this is written by Peter Benchley, who wrote Jaws. But you've got Robert Shaw from Jaws. Robert Shaw, Jacqueline Bisset, Nick Nolte, Louis Gossett Jr., and Eli Wallach in it. And I'm like, okay, wow, what a cast. This could have been like 30 minutes shorter, number one. I was not... Okay. At this point in 1977, yeah, it's PG. She's got a wet t-shirt on. Yeah, I'm sure the boys loved it, back then, but I need a little more in a movie, you know what I mean? Uh this movie was slow, man. Really, really slow. But I really enjoyed Robert Shaw in this. Yeah, Eli Wallach is a great actor, but Robert Shaw, it's like, man, to get to see another performance from Robert Shaw is just cool. Nick Nolte, uh, to be perfectly frank with you, I'm not the biggest Nick Nolte fan. I just, I don't care. I just don't care. I'd never seen Jacqueline Bisset before. Yeah, attractive lady. Louis Gossett Jr. I love. Eli Wallach I love. So yeah, it was interesting, but it's basically this is not terror. Is anything worth the terror of the deep? This movie's a like basically a buried treasure movie. There's like two moments of terror in the whole. You know what I mean? It's like it's so far beyond what I thought this movie was. When you know what I mean? Like when because I'd seen the poster, I'd seen the trailer or not trailer, you know what I mean, over the years. I thought this was another like creature feature. No, this is so anyway. It was way not what I thought it was going to be. That being said, it ended up being kind of okay, but then it ends with a like when it ended, I went, oh, that's it. All that build up and that's it. Okay, all right. So I moved on to the next film. And here's okay, we were talking about actors that we were not a huge fan of, right? I don't really like Adam Sandler. And I definitely don't like the dude that's in it. The other dude, Nick Swardson, is that his name? Is that his name? I can't remember his name. Is that his name? Uh Nick Swardson. Yeah, I can't. I seriously, I have never thought he was funny ever. Ever. Like I never thought he was funny. So this movie was painful in a different way. Brooklyn Decker, of course, I mean, attractive lady, right? All jiggling all over the place in this movie. Yeah, that's okay. But man, this movie was like, dude, just come on. And you've got Nicole Kidman in a role. You've got freaking Dave Matthews from the Dave Matthews Band in a role. But I'm sitting there watching this going, can we move on to the next one, please? I almost stopped it. I almost stopped this movie, but I didn't. I went ahead and finished it. Um, yeah, it's not good. Not a good movie. So basically, what we've got here is let's see, we've got Just Go With It, we've got The Deep, we've got Wolf, which again, there were parts of it I really liked. I still confused by the score. Or yeah, by the music score. Oh, and by the way, David Schwimmer is in a Blink and You Miss It cameo. He plays a cop who tries to put handcuffs on Jack while he's being all wolfy, and he jumps out of the thing, and David Schwimmer like, those are my cuffs, and it's like, wow. So yeah, that one's okay. Airplane 2 is okay. Like I said, inferior to the first one. The first one's way better. I don't think I'll ever need to see this one again. Like, I just don't think it's that funny. The first one is a classic. This one is okay. And it has moments, but and then finally, yeah, Dick. Dick. Not bad. So it wasn't a bad week, but it wasn't great either. There were some definite low points. Okay. So there you go. Um, let's see. Giving people with my name a bad name. Still haven't seen the Monte Cristo movie. Look, there's a lot of different versions of the Count of Monte Cristo. I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, Philbert and I were, we were talking about the whole, you know, the different epics, right? Count of Monte Cristo has been made a lot too, along with Three Musketeers, and just there's a lot of classics that have been remade multiple times. I've only seen the one version, and I read that there's one that came out like 2 years ago in French, and then there's like an older, like a mini series that's supposed to be really good from like late 80s or something, and then there's like an older film. I haven't seen all those, but man, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that book and that movie, even though, like I said, there are things about the movie I kind of prefer, like the way that things it changed some of the things, but I liked it. It's pretty good. This is one I've heard amazing things about but haven't read. And the thing is, honestly, a lot of people read the abridged version of the Count of Monte Cristo because it cuts out a lot of the sort of extraneous stuff. I think there's probably a way to cut out a lot of that and still make it a good book to read. But I don't know. I'm no judge of that. I've never read the abridged version. All I know is I was sitting there going, yeah, none of these characters are in this movie that I'm watching sort of alongside it. But it's good. 8-Bit Taco says, I still haven't read it in Braille, mainly because I don't know Braille. Oh, well, there you go. I don't know why you would. Good call. Now that book can stop a heavy caliber bullet. Oh no, you're right for sure. But the thing is I read it on Kindle. A lot. Honestly, if I have a hardback, I prefer reading a hardback over the Kindle. But if I only have a paperback, I'm just gonna get the Kindle version. That's just the way that I look at it. Kindle is easier to read, and I like the fact that I can read it one-handed. So my other hand is free to do all kinds of things. Do a little Janet Jackson "Miss You Much" thing. No. Anyway, no. I just like the Kindle, and I can read at night. It's just great. Watching the Odyssey made me want to reread 1177, a book about the fall of the Bronze Age. I couldn't find it. Ended up ordering a new one since it was cheap and a revised version was released. Also bought a follow-up called After 1177, covering the centuries after the fall the same author just put out. Oh, that's very cool. Very cool. I think I've told this story before, but I read 1776, right? Robert McCullough. It's about the start of America, right? And it's done in a very, very cool way. I love the way that book was written. It was so good that I got like really into early American history and gave it to my wife to read. She fell in love with it. We both loved the book, and then we did that trip to the Northeast and had a great time finding all these things that were being discussed. You know what I mean? Alongside in the book, it's great. One of the books that they brought up there when we were on this tour was called The Framers' Coup. It's been in my wish list ever since. It's been like 7-8 years, but it's still in my wish list. I still haven't read that, but yeah. And then 8-Bit Taco says, wait, I just started The Way of Kings. You are on a journey, sir. You are on a journey. And the thing is like, I mean, they're of course very popular, but I always wonder if I'm like, it's like, does everybody like this stuff? Because I love this stuff. I love, dude. I don't even want to say anything about that story, but I really love it. I really, really love it. Brian Jacques Redwall. I should listen to audiobooks. I've never even heard of that. What is the premise of the Count of Monte Cristo, Rob? Okay, so it's basically a young man who is wrongfully imprisoned through no fault of his own, and ends up being incarcerated for many years, and then ends up befriending a fellow prisoner who is trying to dig his way out of the prison, and ends up digging his way into his cell. And so over a number of years, they formulate a plan to escape, because apparently this other older prison mate has access to literally millions of dollars. And things happen, and I don't want to go any further than that. But it's basically about a prison break, but it ends up being about all of the people that got him put in that cell, and him basically wanting revenge against all those people, and how he does it. And it is one, again, I would recommend, seriously recommend you watching. I don't know. The way that I experienced that story was watching the movie first. I'd never read the book. I just watched the movie and fell in love with the movie. Like, to me, that's a movie that deserves a big, bad, scary 4K edition with extra features and all that kind of stuff. It's beautifully shot. It's Kevin Reynolds, who made Prince of Thieves, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which is, I love. He made Waterworld, which I don't love, but I can see why people love it. He's done some great stuff. Like, he's done some really, really good work. Jim Caviezel, like I said, Guy Pearce, and Richard Harris plays the prisoner that breaks into his cell. Jim Caviezel is the accused. I'm just, like I said, it's worth a watch, and the movie is the story's great. The story's great. But again, the book and the movie are definitely have a lot of similar plot points, but the way that the movie ends is, the way the movie ends is different than the way the book ends. So, the Blu-ray is over. Really? Do I? Oh, I don't have the Blu-ray. I just have the digital copy of Count of Monte Cristo. But Lou asked, "Have you ever tried Red Rising or the Dungeon Crawler book? Ready to start a new series?" No, I'm still in the middle of trying to get caught up on the Cosmere, Brandon Sanderson. If Red Rising is what I think it is, that is actually on my possibility list. The Dungeon Crawler stuff I haven't read, and I've heard a little bit here and there, but the Red Rising has come up a few times, and I think I put it on my maybe list for when I finish up, or at least get caught up with the Cosmere. So yeah, I'm not really wanting to start another series right now. I'm more interested in really delving into classics right now, because I've read a lot. I've read a lot of stuff. In fact, I was looking at my list the other day. I mean, there's a lot of books in there that I read. But not, like I said, not a lot of classics, and I just enjoyed. The Count of Monte Cristo was surprisingly easy to read. But I'm also, like I said, I guess I'm partially ADHD or whatever, and I have trouble keeping locked in. Audiobook, reading alongside the audiobook helps keep me locked in. So, yeah. Dungeon Crawler Carl, yeah. I've heard, that keeps coming up. So, yeah. Shatner in Airplane 2. I mean, look, he's really only in it for like the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you know what I mean? But it was okay. It was all right. Like I said, it pushes into that side of parody and spoof that I don't really care for, where it's like, I don't know. Airplane seemed more pure, if that makes any sense. But I mean, again, these are older movies and all that stuff, and Oh, the original author bailed on Wolf. I didn't know that. Did not know that. Only movie I really like with Nick Nolte is probably 48 Hours. And I'm not too big on Jennifer Aniston either. Um, yeah, Nick Nolte is one of those that I've just never really gelled with, and Jennifer Aniston is fine in small portions. Uh, Again, this movie wasn't terrible. It's just I cannot stand Nick Swartzen, and it makes me want to just turn off the movie because I cannot stand him. That's just me. I will not watch anything with him. Like when I heard that he was in Grandma's Boy, I was like, I'm not watching that then. I hate that dude. It's just I can't. I just can't. And I'm surprised I made it as far. I made it through to the end. Means you're a stronger man than me. Well, I tried. Do you think a dog whistle would be effective against a werewolf? It should be. It really should be. Right? Because, I mean, some of those really loud whistles hurt my ears. So, Swartzen was great and A Day in the Life of Nick Swartzen, but yes, most Adam Sandler movies are trash. I do enjoy Punch Drunk Love, though. Yeah, but that's not really an Adam Sandler. This is definitely an Adam Sandler movie. I just over Macho Grande. That was a movie that I just watched. Oh, that was the Airplane 2 thing, right? Wait. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, Lou. It's like yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying that Adam Sandler is a terrible looking guy, but dude, the women he pulls for his movies, holy crap. You know? I really need to get to the Northeast. I keep wanting to make a trip to visit old Americana. Dude, like I said, I had such a good time. We both did. We enjoyed it so much. We started in uh Maine, went through is it Vermont, New Hampshire? Whatever the state, I'm pretty sure no, it's New Hampshire because we didn't make it to Vermont. Through New Hampshire, down to whatever. We basically did all those states except for Vermont. Um, we went through Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, new parts of New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland. We didn't actually. I don't think we made it to Delaware, but I made it to Delaware when I went and visited Dave that one time. Picked him up, stayed at his house. So as far as like checking off states, I got that one. But anyway, it was wonderful, and especially like Boston and stuff. Dude, Boston was awesome. Boston's awesome. I really enjoyed it. Did the trail thing, saw the big ship and did I mean, we did all the things and it was great. And then we spent 3 days in DC. And that was during the first 4 years. But it was interesting. Very interesting. Beautiful stuff. Today I bought a ton of DVDs. Watching Order 42 is bad for your wallet. Oops. Sorry. And see, that's the thing, man. I've been thinking about making a video on how do you choose? How do you choose what to buy? And what do you choose to buy? Just buy anything that's on sale? Because there's some people that just do that. They just buy whatever, they get their filthy mitts on. Or do you really pick and choose? And of course, there is the element of surprise, which is kind of fun, is when you're going along a list, you're like, oh, I don't know if I've ever even heard of this movie. You look in the bag and you go, I kind of want to see this. Oh, it's only $5. Screw it. But then if you do that too much, you're going to have a stack of, usually half crap or 70% crap. And the rest of it's just like, like, I don't know if I would have bought it though. Like, I like this movie, but I don't know if I would have bought it. I don't need to own it. So, yeah. Filbert trying to hit Connecticut for that pizza spot and Maine for the lobsters, oysters. Oh my god, dude. Dude, when we were in Portland, I had a lobster roll there, and it was, I mean, phenomenal. In fact, I think well, I'm not going to pull it up, but I think I have a picture of it. Dude, it's amazing. And then we went to this place in New Hampshire that was it was a mac and cheese place. It's all mac and cheese, like all different kinds of mac and cheese. And the thing that they were known for was the lobster mac and cheese. So I got the lobster mac and cheese. And April got, I can't remember which mac and cheese she got. But it was like, dude, we both love mac and cheese. Let's do this. It was great. It was great. That version of Monte Cristo makes a good double feature with a DiCaprio version of Man in the Iron Mask. You know what's funny though? I watched Man in the Iron Mask not too long ago, and I didn't like it. Like I watched it and was like, there were parts of this that I liked, but this is a messy movie. This is a little all over the place. I don't know. It didn't hit the same for me because I used to love that movie, and it just didn't hit the same last time. But I mean, I got the 4K and all that. Savage by Richard Lehman. Tom Sawyer meets Jack the Ripper. Okay, that's interesting. My bad. I was referring to you. Oh, wait. I was referring to you as what would you recommend for a book series for me? Oh. What did you. Hmm. Oh, you're ready to start a new series. Gotcha. Um, wow. It really depends on what you're looking for. Cause I mean, like, I seriously thought that The Gentleman Bastards was going to become my favorite series. I loved those books. The engine was crazy out there. But then what ended up happening is the dude kind of petered out. I think it's supposed to be a 5-book series. He got to the end of book 3, and then he hadn't written anything for years and years. Like he's pulled a George R.R. Martin. But I really enjoyed that series. And it's really funny. And I would say that the audiobooks of those are really good. If you're a Stephen King fan and you haven't done Dark Tower, man, that was one of the most rewarding reading experiences of my life. I did go through Wheel of Time. I liked it. I still feel like there were a lot of dead spots for Wheel of Time for me, especially looking back. Of course, if you haven't read Lord of the Rings, read Lord of the Rings. But like me, I'm mostly a fantasy. I don't typically like I don't do a lot of sci-fi either. Every now and then I do because I wrote Project Hail Mary. I kind of want to read The Expanse. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of what you're into. I'm definitely more of a fantasy. And to me, the Cosmere is. Uh, I really love Stormlight. Um, what was the first Mistborn? The first Mistborn series was pretty good, but then they take that. It's almost like that set in like the sort of the Middle Ages on another planet, so it is very different than Earth. But anyway, so you got like kind of a Middle Ages story, maybe it's like 1400s. Actually, it is. It's like 1400s, 1500s, almost like France, you know. And then they skip forward a few hundred years. So those characters had their story. Now you're over here, and it's sort of like turn of the like 1890s. And I'm really digging those. And I still have one book left in that little. There's 4 books in that series, the Wax and Wayne. Really enjoy those, but it's all the part of the Cosmere, and Stormlight is a big part of it. And those are those big fat freaking crazy books. And I mean, Stormlight to me is just like I cannot believe what they're planning to do. Is they're planning to make a series out of Mistborn, but they're making movies out of Stormlight, and I'm like, dude, so much happens in those books. I feel like you could do 3 movies and still not finish one book because these are fat freaking books. So I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know. Oh, as part of the Cosmere, there's the comic series, White Sands, I think is what it's called. I honestly didn't like those. I basically said, okay, I'm gonna read these just in case I don't miss, like, because you get to the point where you're like, I kind of want to read everything. Um, at least I am. I'm one of those. I'm a completionist sort of person. When it comes to reading a series. So yeah, I was reading those, but I just wasn't really. It really wasn't grabbing me. It never grabbed me in three big collections. It just never really grabbed me. But I read through them, but I moved on, and now I'm back into my my absolute love, which is Stormlight. I don't think they're I don't think they're YA to me. They're just not YA to me. You could probably say, yeah, maybe they're they tend a little younger, but Stormlight is commitment, you know? Like I would say the Mistborn books are right on that edge, but I don't think they're YA either. I mean, I would do some YouTubing or maybe look at Goodreads and stuff, some of those things. I don't consider Sanderson YA. Cuz I've read some YA stuff and yeah, and not for me. Sanderson's for me. Like I really love, dude. Stormlight. There were multiple times in each book where you kind of want to do a fist pump because it's so great. You know, when the triumph happens, it's good. It's good stuff. So that's why I'm like, dude, I can't even imagine what the movies or series or whatever it's going to be. I'm interested in that. I wish they cook lobsters up north like crawfish. It's good, but it needs more seasoning. Well, I mean, with lobsters, it's all about that butter. You know what I mean? It's all about that butter. Uh, but yeah, dude, those lobster rolls. Oh my god, they were so good. I can. Now I'm hungry. Now I want a lobster roll, and I can't have it. Falling Down 4K. Yeah, I mean, see, that's another one of those movies that it's in that same era. Like I saw that movie in the theater. You know, that was right around that time where I think I saw that. I want to say I saw Falling Down and JFK on the same day. I think it's right around that same. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw it on the same day. Anyway, yeah, that's one of those movies that I look at and I go, yeah, that's good. That was a good movie. I don't really need to see it again. I don't know. Like I don't know. To me, it's like honestly, to me, it's even more dated than say Fight Club. You know, where it's got that sort of anti-establishment sort of message, and I get it, and there's a sadness to it and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, that one's an easy skip for me. But then again, I what was that movie? The Hotspot? Hotspot? Hot the Don Johnson, Dennis Hopper uh sort of neo-noir thing, but it's the Jennifer Connelly movie. I've only seen the scene. You know, the scene. You know, that scene. I've never seen the actual movie. So I kind of want to see the actual movie. So I pre-ordered that in 4K. So that one's going to be an interesting one. But no, God, I ordered that like 2 months ago. I don't know when it's coming in. Um, but anyway, um, but you're absolutely welcome, Lou. I mean, like me, to me, like I know a lot of people aren't. They just don't vibe with Stephen King, and I get it. But man, I have loved that man. That sounds weird. I've loved that man's writing since I was a wee tyke when I read Salem's Lot for the first time, dude. And for some reason, I think I was just scared away by too many people going, "Yeah, the Dark Tower is too meh," or whatever. And I'm like, well, I don't want to read meh. I want to read good stuff. And so I was always scared away by Dark Tower, but I'd read a lot of the books that were surrounding the Dark Tower. You know what I mean? Like, because every now and then there'll be a character that is adjacent to the Dark Tower, and I didn't know it at the time. But then the more that I read, I'm like, there seems to be a connection with a lot of these characters. That shit's interesting, you know? But man, oh, you're right. Yes, I want the dude. The Talisman was so good. I didn't Black House, and that was called. I didn't like that one as much, but yeah, for sure. And Slades, of course, you're welcome. Uh, I just wish I could get some feedback from people that don't have so much fatigue with that movie. Yeah, and that's honestly that is one of the big hurdles with Batman Forever and the Neon Nightmare. I mean, I hope you if it's available for everybody. I know you said that you were going to make it available, but anyway, the thing is it's like I feel like I'd seen that movie so many times cuz I love Jim Carrey that I'd watch Batman Forever so many times. By the way, what we're talking about is Slades did a fan edit of Batman Forever called Neon Nightmare, and he let me watch it early because I'm special. But no, he just wanted my opinion, and my biggest issue with the movie is that as I've gotten older, that movie Batman Forever, not his version, but Batman Forever is a tonal nightmare. Like that's what I would name my fan edit would be tonal nightmare because it's trying to be serious at parts and then it's extremely goofy with Jim Carrey bouncing all over the screen. And then it tries to get serious again and then there's supposed to be an actual story about Bruce Wayne in there. And it's overshadowed by all the other goofiness going on. Then you got Chris O'Donnell in there that really wrecks shop as far as tone. And so it's all over the place this movie. And then, and then, you know, oh, what? I didn't finish my thought. And then, sorry, I saw them Fight Club comments. How dare you? Look, I'm sorry. I just feel like it's dated now. Well, what can I say? It's just my opinion. But Neon Nightmare, what he does is he tries to get it closer using his the I guess the best quality sources he can muster. He's trying to get it closer to what Schumacher originally intended, which was going to be a little more serious and a little more honestly a little more freaky because and I mean freaky as in like okay, that's kind of twisted because of what Bruce Wayne is going through. The problem is you're limited by what you have with your deleted scenes. It's not like you can go do reshoots, you know? This was a movie that what came out in 95, right? So I mean, you're limited to the materials that you have on hand. But I think he does a great job with what he's given. I just like I said, a lot of his trims affect me more because I've seen the movie so many times. So I wasn't expecting scenes to end the way they did, and so it kept throwing me off. But I think he did a good job. So I would definitely, if it's available for everyone, yeah, I would say check it out. And it's funny because I was thinking, do I put up a poster for it, like in my I watched this week? But then I was like, I might not, I I might not mention it unless somebody brings it up. And you brought it up, so I should have just done it. But yeah, last three Dark Tower books were a little rushed, which George R. R. Martin had that problem. I mean, but the thing is, though, I got to the end of Dark Tower and was like, I loved it. In fact, when that one big ask happens, you know what I'm talking about. If you've read the Dark Tower, you know that toward the end of the Dark Tower, and I'm talking about the series, something happens that kind of breaks your mind a little bit. And I loved it. I thought it was so ingenious. And I was sitting there thinking the entire time, Jesus, what balls on this, the balls on this guy. I loved it, and it really worked for me. And then the ending comes, and I was like, that was great. That was really good, and it made me want to read it all again. So, yeah. Your opinion is wrong, Rob. I'm sorry. I did make up an original scene with a voiceover and journal entry. Absolutely. But that's, again, you're limited to what you can add because of the age of the film, right? So, anyway. The part when he wakes up and it was only a dream. You know what's funny, Filbert, is that in a weird way, hashtag no spoilers. I wanted more from the Man in Black. He was such a good villain. I seriously loved, because here's the thing. It's always like, I don't know. I like the fact that he was kind of a weenie. And he ended up going out in a different way than I thought he was going to. I don't know. But I'm also a Stephen King apologist. You know, I like a lot of his books that a lot of people are like, what? I will say I still don't. I hate the ending to Under the Dome. I think it was awful. And there are definitely a few of his books that don't end well. But I really enjoyed the end of the Dark Tower. Yes, definitely connected universes way before Marvel, for sure. Well, I don't know if that's true though. Because I mean the and again, I don't know because I didn't read comics back then, but I thought they were doing the multiverse stuff back in the 80s, and I don't know. And then the Crisis of Infinite Earths, definitely was one of the biggest, and that was in the mid 80s, right? Which I did read. I haven't read Dark Tower, just know of it. Exactly. I haven't read too many of his novels, but I love his short stories. Yeah, that's the thing about King too, is that's how I really started to fall in love with his writing, is like within paragraphs. You're just like, I'm in. He's just good at that. And the way that he does that in many of his books is really good too. I got to get some sleep. Hey, Lou, you have a good one, man. Good talking with you. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Central Standard Time is whenever I'm releasing my cut. If anybody's interested, reach out to me. I'm hosting an in-person screening event and releasing it shortly after. Thank you, Slades. Thank you, Slades, for saying that. And that is Batmite in the Discord if you're interested. But hey, why don't we move over to the Discord? It's already 10:20. Let's go hang out. I do have to make water. That means pee. I got to put my pee in there. Behind that door. I mean, not literally behind the door, but there's a bathroom behind that door. Not literally behind the door. That's a hallway, and then there's a bathroom. But anyway, doo-doo parasite. I don't know what that means. But anyway, let's jump in here and see how it goes. I'm in, and they can't hear you because I got it muted, so y'all can't say any crazy stuff. But anyway, hey, thank you for being here. Sorry for the upset virus going around US. Gotcha. But thank you for being here. Sorry for the whatever happened in the middle of the show, all that stuff. Look, like I said, we're just trying to have a good time over here. We're not meant to, tell people that their opinions are crap or whatever. Anyway, y'all have a great one. And thank you for the support. It really does mean a lot. Thank you so much. But we'll see you next time and stuff. Okay, bye.